Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 139 of the It's Obvious Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Preston Pugh, and I'm joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Hello, gentlemen.
And Jacob Alka.
Hey there, sexy boys.
Whoa, coming out feisty, huh?
Oh yeah, I know the audience can't see us this week, but I'm staring right at Garrett right now, and I'm just so turned on right now.
That makes two of us, Jacob. We are surrounded by some serious mood lighting and a very bright candle here in the dark room we've created surrounding ourselves.
The only thing we're missing is Diablo.
Right, yeah, this reminds me of our Diablo days for sure. I am packed full of mucus for some reason, so I can barely speak, and I'm choking on my own crap in my throat right now. So it's going to be a rather difficult podcast for me, on top of the fact that I slept an hour in the last 48 hours. So life's a little rough right now, but other than that, I'm happy to be here. And the reason there is no video this week is because Preston couldn't be with us. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We're very limited on time. And the edit would have taken, taken me a lifetime had Preston and us shot a video. So that's why there's no video. But hey, you can hear our voices, and we look forward to hearing from you guys regardless.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
I feel like very few people even listen or watch the video anyway. So
yeah, it's kind of there just for the sake of being there, I guess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Usually.
I am not there, and I'm not looking at you gentlemen. Instead, I'm looking at a computer screen, looking at the Skype app that is opened, and I'm staring at a picture of an owl. That is your icon for some reason.
Yeah, your icon is just your initials, PP. That's what I'm staring at.
Okay.
I'm staring at some PP.
That's I get it.
Yeah, but Preston has the best.
Can you explain it?
Preston has the best situation today because he's using his gaming headset, because apparently his mic or something, or his mixer is giving him issues. So he gets to lounge in a chair with a headset on doing the podcast.
I mean, I could lounge. I could just hold my mic if you wanted.
You could be very rattly and boomy, though.
I could do it, though.
The slightest flick to the rod here sends shockwaves to the microphone.
Oh.
Especially on mine, it's pretty bad. We're actually using a blanket on our table underneath our microphones today for the first time. First time for a lot of things today. First time that we're using a blanket. First time Preston's using a headset to speak to us. It's also the first time we've Skyped and not looked at each other on Skype. We've just heard each other's voices.
Yeah,
this is
so
the day of first.
It's a big day here in It's Obvious Gaming.
Yeah, apologize. I know the audio will sound a little different for myself, but I can assure you that this sounds much better than if I were to try and use my typical setup. Not sure exactly what's going on with it, but I'll try and suss out.
Person, it seems every mixer that goes into your house dies and never makes it out.
I don't even think it's the mixer, because I'm using this standard, dynamic handheld mic, and Lord knows if.
Oh, that makes sense. I forgot that your normal mic is at my house still.
Yeah, so I'm 99.9% sure the mic is just crap. And
wait, a handheld mic? You have one of those mics that singers use?
Yeah, the singer mic. But I'm trying to talk.
It's a karaoke mic.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even have a clip for it to go on a boom either, so I was just gonna have to hold it with my hand. So all in all, it's probably way better than I'm just using this headset. So
that's quite all right, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using a blanket on the table because our little plastic table here is very reflective, and it doesn't help in this cathedral of a room we record in. And this new mixer, as we've mentioned the past couple of weeks, is much more sensitive than our previous one. So I'm still working out the kinks with it. And there may even be something wrong with it. It's like the crispiest thing I've ever heard. It's like bacon, Jacob.
I love me some bacon.
And I don't like my audio to sound like bacon, though. I like to consume bacon.
I consumed bacon today.
I don't like my voice to sound like bacon.
I had a piece of bacon.
You had bacon today?
Literally one piece.
Okay.
It was quite tasty.
Had 2 egg and cheese wake-up wraps from Dunkin' Donuts about 6:30 this morning.
What's a wake-up wrap?
A wake-up wrap is a tortilla with a scrambled egg and cheese melted in it, wrapped together. It's kind of like a little mini burrito.
You get like 2 for $2 or something, right?
Exactly. They're delicious too.
I've had one of them before.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, this week was jam-packed full of video games, so I'm just super eager to get into a discussion about them.
Yeah. Why don't you start us off then? Since you're so eager.
I think I'd like to listen to Garrett's side of the week. first.
Any particular reason why?
I know me and you played The Hunt together for a night.
We did, yeah. So
do we need to like do the intro or whatever?
Yeah, let's go ahead and say there are timestamps in the description of whether you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or if you're even on YouTube. If you want to skip to the actual meat of the podcast, which I consider the meat of the podcast, the very beginning and the end. The news is just kind of there to discuss. But if you prefer to skip to the news, those timestamps are in the description below, and you can do so.
Absolutely.
With that being said, here goes our hour spiel before all that begins. But to bring everyone up to speed, I'm pretty sure this was one of the busiest weeks of my entire life. It was probably also the longest week of my life. I feel like the past 7 days were a month. It was ridiculous. With the exception of when I was eating, sleeping, or driving, I was working on something the entire time. And the only times I was in my actual home were to film videos for COG. I played Wolfenstein 2's Freedom Chronicles DLC Chapter 2 with Agent Silent Death. Just more Wolfenstein, nothing really special whatsoever, but it was fun. Also played Hunt, like Preston said, but they're both for COG, and I came home specifically to shoot them from between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. to shoot them and then edit them and get them up and then go all the way back to Atlanta and go back to school and work the entire time. But it was worth it because those games were really fun, and I'm glad I got to play them. Gosh, people always call my mom when we're Skyping thinking it's her.
You're trying to Skype with her?
My sister was thinking my mom's on Skype right now. We're using my mom's computer to talk to Preston. What was I saying? I played Wolfenstein Hunt, and I played recreational video games for about an hour with Preston. We played Rainbow Six after we played Hunt because the frame rate was so bad. We needed a silky smooth shooter experience after that, just kind of cleanse our palate of that disgusting experience Hunt was. But
yeah, I actually have a code, but I've yet to play it just because of what I've heard.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. When it works, it's fine. I mean, I think the highest frames I hit was maybe 60 for a split second, and I teeter between 30 and 50 most of the time. So it's just a filthy mess right now. But I will say, when the game works, it's a lot of fun. And me and Preston were talking about it. I think when it's optimized, it'll be a really cool experience. But we can talk about that in detail in a bit. But I think that's all I played this week.
Excellent.
I hated this week so much. Hated everything about it. There was one cool aspect of it, though. I ran monitors for a band called Emery.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, that name may sound familiar to you. I hadn't listened to Emery since I was in middle school, and they're kind of like a punk hardcore band. And it was cool because they were on tour with another band from Nashville, or a few bands, but one specifically called As Cities Burn, which was a straight up hardcore band, just all screaming the entire time. Another band playing with him was more pop punkish called Loyals, also from Nashville, and another one from Washington, D.C. called In My Memory. So it was all like a post-hardcore metal show at Smith's Old Bar, which is really cool because bands like that rarely come through that venue. It's more of like a bluesy rock and roll type band or venue. But I got to run monitors for all those bands, and it was it felt like I was running sound at the Masquerade in Atlanta. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it had like a Masquerade crowd there too. So
I got some of your Instagram videos.
Yeah, that was a super fun show. So that was a cool experience at work this week. But other than that, it was just dumb. Went to school. I lived at Smith's for like 5 days straight. It all just bleeds. I can't even remember what show was on which night. It all just bleeds into one night.
You're literally killing yourself.
Basically, I am the definition of spread too thin. I'm trying to do like 1,000 things at once. Get like a couple hours of sleep a night. So. But hey, we're here. The only thing that sucks is that ItsObviousGaming is suffering tremendously because of it. I have zero time to do anything for ItsObviousGaming with the exception of this podcast. Obviously, it's our main priority. But
it's pretty disappointing. It
is, yeah. It's like I know what we're capable of on this channel, but I'm so hindered because of my adult responsibilities I have to complete. So it is what it is for the time being. But I might have a little more time to dedicate to some It's Obvious stuff this week. We'll see. I'm not going to make any promises. I can't breathe right now. I've made too many promises recently about Ask IOG is going to happen, and every single time I say that, it doesn't happen. So I'm not going to promise anything anymore. But I appreciate everyone.
Count on us.
I appreciate everyone sticking around because it's always fun when we can actually crank something out. And I like seeing everyone's Monster Hunter stuff on Discord, so that's nice as well. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now because I literally can't breathe through my nose.
Jacob, how about you?
My week was also fairly busy, and anytime that I wasn't working, I was playing Monster Hunter. But I did work a ton this week. What else? I'm still watching Arrow and Flash. I'm just punching
Let's go on
myself in
another
the face,
15-minute tangent about that real quick.
Please no. I'm gonna start The Defenders soon. I'm excited to watch that because I still haven't watched it.
Defenders sucked.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was awful.
How many episodes is it?
8.
8.
Now I like the length, but it was just so stupid. Now it had its moments. I'll give it that. There's some fun action moments, but I thought the chemistry felt a little off.
Oh, that's disappointing.
The story itself, the villains, some of the worst villains I think I've ever seen in any medium ever. They're just terrible and stupid, and I hated them.
I still got to watch
That's
it.
a shame, though, because the individual shows, with the exception of Iron Fist, are pretty solid.
Even I liked Iron Fist at some points.
It had its moments, too, but overall, Iron Fist is a major letdown, and he's still a major letdown in Defenders. I don't know why he's so lame, because I feel like Iron Fist could be so cool, but he's just such a loser.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What's his name? Danny?
Danny, it's not Danny Queen. I wanted to call him Oliver
Danny Queen?
It's something like that. Danny, that's a problem. We can't remember his name. I don't know.
I mean, I'm bad with names to begin with. Oh, there's another call.
Sister keeps calling.
Yeah, tell her to shut up.
I'm going to text her and tell her to F off.
But yeah, like I said, been playing a ton of Monster Hunter, which we will, I'm sure, get into here fairly soon. I love that game. It's one of the best games I've played in a long time, so I'm excited to talk about it. But I've also played a little bit of Zelda. I was playing a little Zelda before we got on the podcast. I feel like I've explored Zelda's castle, or Hyrule Castle, I mean, pretty extensively. I literally just found the Hyrule, or the whatever Link's shield is called. I forgot what it's called, by killing that bone dude. So that was cool. And I got like it's like this black armor set. I forgot what it's called too. I'm not good with names, but I explored Hyrule Castle pretty well, and I'm enjoying that game still a ton. Maybe one day I will finish it, because I've been working on it for almost a year now. Well, I guess not really. This summer will be a year, but.
What game are you talking about? Zelda?
Zelda.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're cutting close to a year for sure.
Well, it'll be summer, because I didn't get it in March like you guys.
Oh, you got it in summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get my Switch till later. And play a little Overwatch, and that's about it for me, But I mean, we'll get into Monster Hunter here pretty soon.
Yeah, we will. Or at least I'll listen while you guys rave about it. It's funny. Today was the first time. I won't go into tangent here because I know we're going to talk about it a lot in this episode. But first time for me was this morning. I realized, I'm like, man, I really want to play Monster Hunter. Everyone's talking about it. I caught the bug like Preston did, like a few days after it came out, but I just caught it to where I'm like, man, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's like talking about how much fun it is, and all the images I see in the gameplay, I see, I'm like, that looks like an absolute blast.
Man, you think you're like into it now? Like, man, once you start it, it's just, man, nonstop.
Yeah, that's what's heartbreaking though, is that I would have a total of maybe an hour to play it this week. So I'm like, I probably shouldn't spend the money. So I'll just continue to wish I could play it. And since that's so heartbreaking, do you mind if we take a moment of silence for my sake so I can filter out this air? All right, moment of silence is over. Nice.
Yeah, that is kind of unfortunate. Typically, I don't want to relate this game to Destiny because they're not really similar. I mean, the only thing that's similar is that you just kind of...
The gear grind.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm going to...
This game has a much bigger grind than Destiny does.
Yeah, it does. But
it has a grind like an MMO, sort of.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to say, is that at least in Destiny, you can... I could recommend it to somebody like you that has a job that consumes a lot of time, because I know that you can at least get through the story and stuff, But, man, to actually complete Monster Hunter, the grind is put into the game. Like,
yeah, the story is a grind.
Yeah, so for you, I mean, from what I've looked into, to actually just complete the story, it's a 100+ hour thing. Yeah. So there's pretty much 3 acts from what I've seen, and each act can take between 30 and 40 hours. So it is definitely something that you have to commit an extreme, amount of time to, see it through to the end. So, yeah, unfortunately,
I'll play it in a couple years then.
Yeah, pretty much. So, it's a bummer because, like Jacob said, it is so freaking good, and it's the most addicted I've been to a game in a long time. It nails that carrot at the end of the stick that you're just constantly wanting. There's just like so much to do in the game that there's just times where I'm just like staring at the screen and I'm like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know if I want to try and upgrade this sword or this armor, or try and continue the story, or do these investigations to get more materials, or do quests to expand my canteen to get more ingredients, or there's this new mantle that I could figure out how to get, or there's these campsites that I could expand. It's just you go fishing, there's just so much crap to do that it's almost mind-blowing, and every single thing that I just said, just doing it will benefit you. There's really nothing that you can do in this game that doesn't benefit you, somewhat. So that's what's so addicting about it.
That is true.
Yes. Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, well, a real Monster Hunter would do all of that without whining about it.
Who's whining?
Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Garrett, what are you doing?
I'm fanning the flame.
Okay.
It's very warm if you try putting your hand over it. You get about that close, it scorches you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else have you played, Preston?
Man.
Did you soil yourself over there, Jacob?
I did.
Yeah, I can tell.
This week was pretty much, sorry if you hear any whines in the background. My dog's in here with me, and she does not want to be in here. You need to be quiet. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so
I know, Jacob.
Primarily,
Lucky you didn't do it near this flame. I wouldn't be surprised if this whole room burst into flames in a minute. Sorry,
Did you
Preston.
fart?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. I wish I was there.
You don't.
Oh, okay. I picked up Dragon Ball Fighters and Monster Hunter. I picked up Monster Hunter the day after because, like Garrett said, the more I listen to people talk about it, it kind of just grabbed me. So I picked that up the day after. But on the day of release, I picked up Dragon Ball Fighters, and I've played that probably for about 10 or 12 hours. And like I've said a million times, that the game absolutely looks just breathtaking. The animation, and it's just spot on to the anime, and it just looks incredible. So I played a little bit of the story, and I primarily jumped into online for the most part. And there was one night at about 1 a.m. that I just sat down and just started playing online, and I played for a few hours. I think I played like 30 or 40 matches in a row, and I won, I think, like 15 of them, which is fine. Like, winning half of the matches, or a little bit under half, or like 1 in 3 is fine for somebody that's not really good at fighting games. But man, when I lost, I didn't really lose by a hair. It was like I got the biggest butt kicking that I've ever received in any video game in my entire life. And I was shook because I didn't know somebody could ever beat me that bad in anything that I ever played. And there were a few moments where I would just have to stare at the screen and just reflect on the just ass kicking I took. And I was just, I don't even know what steps to take to get better or anything, because in a situation like that, when there's literally nothing I can do, where it's just like I might get,
it's basically one endless combo from start to finish.
Pretty much, and it's just like I can't even tell what's going on. And so stuff like that would happen, and I would jump back to practice mode, and I would learn to do combos. And I think one of my problems in fighters is I don't want to be that random button masher guy. Like, I want to actually try and understand. Hey, I see you. What's up? I want to act like, or I want to play like I kind of know what I'm doing. And I think sometimes that is my downfall, whereas I don't really know how to defend against button spammers. So I'm sure a lot of just people smacking buttons probably beat me, but as time went on, and like I said, I've been playing in practice mode. I got my team down that I like for the most part, and I was able to win, like I said, about half of the matches. So I don't think I'm the worst player in existence, but I'm by no means average or good by any stretch of the mind. But it is a fun game. But I actually had a few matches. I think I saved them too on the match save feature of where my final character is always Trunks, and I 1 versus 3 like clutched it and won it like a few times. For some reason, Trunks for me like clicks, and then I was able to play like significantly better than him than my other 2 characters, which I typically start out with Adult Gohan. Then I go into I was playing as Hit for a little bit, and he was fine. And then I switched over to Yamcha, just because I know that's hilarious to play as Yamcha, but
what the hell?
He's really good in this game, though. Like
you should just do Yamcha, Krillin, and
Tien. Yeah,
Tien.
Dude, Tien is really good. I've got my butt kicked plenty of times by Tien.
It's because he has that third eyeball.
Yeah, exactly. So I was primarily Adult Gohan, Yamcha, and Trunks, and that was the team that I liked to mess around with. So I'm sure that's just a fun game to play when I'm just really not in the mood for anything else, and I'll probably try and progress this story a little bit more. So that's about as much as I played for that, and that was primarily like at the beginning of the week before I really sunk my teeth like fully into Monster Hunter, which I have about 50 or so hours in Monster Hunter right now. I know I told y'all there's about 3 acts of the game. I think I just got to around the second one. I just got to high ranks. Well, I didn't just get to.
I think we're both in the second part of the game.
Yeah, we are. I just got to the final area, I believe. It's called the Elder... the Elder something, but it's definitely a really different type of location. It's very like rocky, and there's like crystals everywhere, and that is one thing that's awesome about this game, is every single locale is very different and has its own look to it. It's not just all forest. Like there's a wasteland, there's a place with just like, it's almost like it's underwater, but it's not. There's a place called the Rotten Vale that's just nasty, and there's just bone. Yeah, just dead. There's just gas everywhere. And then there's this final area, which, just like I said, it's very rocky looking, and there's like crystals popping out of everywhere. And there's actually an area of this place where you have to take, it reminded me of Zelda a little bit, but I have to drink this cool potion to keep me cool, because it's so hot the lower you get that it'll just kill you. It'll burn you so much. So, so every single locale is very distinct, and that's really awesome.
Speaking on the locations, I love, like, I haven't once found myself getting bored of any of the locations, and I don't know why that is, because they're pretty big areas, but they're not like an MMO size map or anything. They're all like, if you've been around them several times, you know where to go and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's because it's harkening on the design of the maps. I think that they're so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think just because they just look so different. Like there's one forest, and there's a forest section in the wasteland, but for the most part, it's a big desert, and each area has its own monsters and stuff for the most part. So I don't know, and you're constantly bouncing back and forth between them, so I don't think you ever really get tired of hanging out in one area at a time. So the game does a good job about giving you some variety, and it does mix it up with the monsters. Not to spoil anything, but definitely some things happen with some monsters that you have seen, things that make them harder, little twists on them and stuff. So Even though you kind of are fighting some monsters repeatedly, they do mix it up. And then, I mean, I'm 50 hours in, and the new area that I got to, I was just introduced to like 4 brand new monsters, and there's still more to come. So there is a big variety of monsters as well, which each monster has its own set of weapons, like its own weapon tree, its own set of armor. Like once you get to high rank, there's 2 different sets of armor. There's an alpha and beta set of armor. The only difference between those is the beta set allows you to customize the abilities a little bit more through these things called decorations, which are pretty much like mods in Destiny. So if you want to completely customize your armor, you can stick with the beta, or if you want an armor that has a preset of abilities, you can stick to alpha. So it gives you the choice if you really want to get in depth and farm these decorations and make them your own, or take a slightly less easier path with the alpha set of armor, and it kind of just give you its own either 2 perks or a level 2 perk instead of a level 1 perk. And that's the biggest draw to this game for me, is those armor sets. Is I love killing a new massive monster and just fighting him for maybe 30 to 40 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, having to chase him to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, chase him to the ends of the earth and finally kill him. And it's so satisfying, especially for a boss that's just giving you hell, and you shoot up an SOS flare and you have 3 guys come in and you finally take him down and you just rip pieces of him off. And I just can't wait to run back to the smith and see, what the armor of this guy looks like. It's so fun. And then just, fighting him again and doing that grind to finally get pieces of armor. And that's what's cool about the grind in this game, is that if I fight a monster and he's like the Agenath, for example, which Garrett, that was the sweetie, please be quiet, you're whining so much. Garrett, that was the T-Rex that we fought in that video.
Yeah.
Dude, in the full game, man, she was a bitch to kill. Like
she was pretty bad in the beta as well.
Yeah, but at least they gave us like decent armor in the beta. But like when you go up against her for the first time, like that was a rude awakening. Just especially trying to take her on by yourself.
I remember the first time that I tried to fight that T-Rex, and the coolest thing happened. Like I was chasing it one time, it was running away from me. I was kicking its ass pretty hard. And there's one part of the map that's rocky. It's still in the forest area, but it's like the left side of the map that's kind of rocky. The T-Rex, it runs away and it gets on this cliff. It climbs up and then it hops on these rocks.
Yeah, I think we saw it do that in the beta.
Before?
Yeah, ours got stuck on the cliffs, actually.
It was one of the coolest things I've seen. I had no idea this could happen in the game. That was like the first time when I was playing, I was like, holy shit, this is a cool-ass game. The T-Rex is fucking like jumped on rocks to get away from
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't get up there myself, but
there's a few contextual things that can happen with the environment. There's a monster called the Rathalos, which is the description says it's like the king of the skies. It's one of the monsters that on the cover of the game, like it
looks kind of like a dragon, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. And its nest is way high up in the air, up in all of these trees. And once the monsters kind of get low on health and they start stumbling around and they want to kind of go heal up or rest up, they go back to their nest and they take a nap. So you can follow it there, and that's a good opportunity to get in a lot of damage or place some traps if you actually want to capture the monster. But
you get a good critical hit in.
Yeah, exactly. And if you follow the Rathalos back up to its lair, sometimes it will swing its tail out and it will hit this dam with water behind it, and you're like a million feet up in the air at the top of this tree, and just this water will come rushing down and it'll knock your entire party and the monster off, and you'll fall all the way down the tree, and your guy will throw out his little zip line thing and he'll survive it, but it'll hurt the Rathalos and you'll be able to get in some hits as well. I'm not sure if you can actually trigger that. But
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't use a lot of bombs or anything.
Yeah.
So,
but that's just a cool thing that can happen in the environment. And another cool thing that I actually just figured out the other day was I was hunting a Rathian, I believe, and I looked up above, and there were all these rocks with vines all over them, and I just shot it with a rock out of my stinger, and all the rocks fell and just landed on top of the Rathian I was fighting, and it stunned him for like a good 15 seconds.
see, speaking of the kind of environment stuff you can do in the arenas, have you done a lot of those quests?
I've done a handful of them. I do know there's like cannons and stuff in there.
I like that, like that Coliseum kind of looking arena, because I like all like the different weapons you can utilize in that arena to take down the monsters.
Yeah, no, that's definitely cool.
Like there's a dragon spear in the arena.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But yeah, that's I really, one of the things that I also really like about this game is I like how you actually have to prepare for the fights. Like having traps is extremely helpful. Having different types of potions that maybe up your attack power, up your defense, are definitely very helpful. Having the correct resistances and the correct weapons that the monsters are weak to is detrimental. And typically other games like The Witcher, for instance, as much as I love that game and I've played it on Death March difficulty twice, I never felt like I had to actually prepare for a hunt against, the creature that I was going after. Just if I had a strong enough sword, I was able to, take it out easy, which you can do in this game, but it's way harder because these fights are so, long. And if you're going in there with armor that is not resistant to fire, or any element that the monster you're fighting is shooting at you, or your weapon isn't doing a lot of damage, you potentially couldn't even kill it in the amount of time that they give you. So it's almost I don't want to say like a big like absolute requirement to get prepped to do these fights, but it is immensely helpful, and it really changes the game. Because I'm like I said, I've just kind of been games that give you options to do traps and stuff like that. For some reason, that never really calls out to me. That just doesn't fit my play style. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I'm really getting into it in this game because it helps so much. Like if you just can't get a hit in, and you can just lay down a shock trap, which will allow you to get a combo. Like I'm a longsword user, which allows me to build my spirit gauge up, and I'm able to just do more and more damage, and that'll be like a snowball of just everybody doing damage just from me placing this one trap on the ground. So they're super helpful.
Yeah. And I use the greatsword, so if I can get something trapped and stunned for 5 to 10 seconds, I can get off my biggest hitting combo, and there's nothing more satisfying in this game than me getting off my combo. Like it's the most satisfying thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's another thing that's really cool about this game. And I know to Monster Hunter players, this just comes with the game. But I love how every single weapon is unique. Like all these weapons play completely different, and they have their own play style. Like my longsword isn't just some longsword that I'm swinging around. I'm having to build up a gauge, this red gauge, which allows me to do a spirit combo, and then if I successfully execute this spirit combo, I have another gauge that grows to a white level, and then if I execute the next combo correctly, it goes to yellow, and if I execute it again, it goes to red. So the entire point of me using this longsword is for me to stay in this red area, because that's where I'm doing the most damage. And there's this special move I can do called the Spirit Thrust, which uses one of those gauges that allows me to shoot up in the air and come down really fast and do a really powerful move that accounts for like 5 or 6 hits. And if I get it on a tail or a head, I can sometimes just cut it off right then, or just do a ton of damage. And I also use the charge blade, or the switch axe, which is a axe that can switch into a great sword, and it has this mechanic where it needs to charge, and if I get enough hits with it, the element that is inside the sword will start to discharge, and I can actually stab it into the creature, and if I mash triangle, I can actually build up the elements and cause an explosion for, you know, massive damage, and once that is down, it switches back, you know, to the axe.
Right.
So, and it's just every weapon I try, it's not just like in any other game where like, oh, I have the great sword, so I'm just trading off, movement speed just for heavy hitting damage. It's like, no, you have to know the mechanics for this weapon. You're not just swinging it around. Like there is a, you know, underlying thing that you have to do with each of these weapons to get the most out of them.
Yeah, I would say just using the greatsword, I've had to, more so than any other game I've played, just have to read my enemy, because if you don't time things right or not, you know, in the right position with a greatsword, you will get punished, like, because you're just wide open.
Yeah.
You're charging your attacks. And I've also used the charge axe. It's also really fun to use, and I've dabbled with the dual gleaves a little bit, because you were kind of talking about with like the spirit gauges and whatnot. With the dual gleaves, there's this thing called a demonic mode, and when you're in that mode, you do much more damage. And then there's also like, there's another thing after the demonic mode if you do shit enough. I don't remember exactly what, because I haven't played them in a long time, but it's like it's a better demonic mode, and then you have a whole nother move set. It's really cool. I love the combos of those weapons.
Yeah, I saw Kotaku puts out these videos weekly called like the plays of the week.
Yeah.
And they put out a video this past week that showed some Monster Hunter stuff, and it showed a guy with the dual blades slide down this hill, and I guess he hit the demonic mode or whatever you're talking about, and he was able to shoot up, and he looked like Levi from Attack on Titan, just like spinning, and this thing was in the air, and he just like rolled up its back, just like a freaking blade spinning, and actually killed the monster in that. It looks so awesome. So that kind of got me interested in using those as well.
Yeah, I really love all the twirling around and shit with the gleaves. They're really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. The only thing that kind of sucks about there being all these really cool weapons is it is a little hard to, well, at least it was initially, for me to decide what I actually want to play as. And the game does a good game with giving you, on a scale of 1 to 3, how easy it is to use. It will, you know, recommend some things for beginners and stuff. But with where I am, especially, and where me and Jacob are, it is a little hard to kind of, we're so used to the play style that we're doing right now, and we're taking on these hard enemies. It is hard to just completely switch to a different weapon with different ranges, different like movement speeds, and fight these, you know, hard monsters that we're used to fighting, you know, with the weapon we're used to. And it also is hard to upgrade some newer weapons up to the level.
The more weapons you want to use, the more materials you have to get, the more money you have to spend. It's quite the grind.
Yeah, money is becoming a little bit of an issue for me right now. I got that. I told you there's this bandit mantle that you receive that allows you to, the more you hit a monster, they can drop different types of scales that you can in return go sell. They're not even used for crafting. All they're meant for selling. And I had over 100,000 zinni, and I thought, man, I was rolling. Oh, dude, I thought I was rolling in it. I'm down to like 15.
How do I get that?
Oh, there's a quest that you have to take from the lady that sells the armor in the smithy. She gives you.
I probably have it. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's called the something couple. You have to fight a Rathalos and a Rathian in the same quest.
I have that quest. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but definitely recommend doing that one, because you can get that mantle. But like I said, I had 100 grand, and I was like, dude, I'm rich right now. And this new armor that's coming out, like I got full Zora set. Which is one of the big elder dragons that you see in the the beginning cutscene.
Yeah. And he's kind of the big baddie in your first playthrough.
Yeah, exactly. So I got his armor set, which pretty much looks like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. It looks awesome. Yeah. And every single piece was $9,000.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I crafted one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So my the amount of money I have is pretty shrunk, and especially once you start getting into the weapons, like there's one weapon I'm looking at right now that's like 15,000 just to upgrade it.
Yeah, not only does it cost a lot to craft them, but you also have to upgrade them too, and that costs even more.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So
just money, you can't have enough in this game.
Yeah, and I mean that's just one other thing that I haven't hit a wall yet where I'm like, okay, I have to go craft money. I have to go, grind for money. I've been fairly good using that bandit mantle. If I use it every now and then, I get enough stuff to sell to where I'm good. But I can see me hitting a point where I need to figure out a way to consistently be, have money rolling in. So I might need to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said in the beginning, man, that carrot on the end of the stick just showing me these armor pieces and kind of hinting to me what my weapons can do in the future. And the newest place that I went to, they're kind of teasing me the next monsters that I'm going to be tackling. It just keeps pulling me in, and it's like all I've been thinking about this entire week. Thankfully, I haven't had too much work this week. I think I worked a day or two, so I was able to really dedicate a massive chunk of my time to this game.
I've been kind of annoyed that I haven't kind of had that same time that you have, because I feel like I've been kind of left behind. I've barely gotten into the high rank stuff, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm missing out a little bit, but
at least you've started.
I mean, I'm going at my own pace, so there's no rush, I'm
gonna be honest, Jacob. I was literally asleep for that entire conversation.
I saw.
Not that I'm bored. I'm just that tired.
I know you
are. Yeah, that sounds great from what I did here. Thankfully, I was so busy this week that I didn't really have time to stop and think about it, with the exception of this morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, I think I want to get that game, but it would be a disservice to myself, and really just to myself, because I have no time to play it, which really bums me out. But I like hearing everyone talk about it, so please keep talking about it. I like seeing all the pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jacob and I might
please post your characters in the Discord.
Yeah, and especially your cats. What are the cats called again?
Palicos.
Palicos, yeah. Jacob and I will probably crank out a Monster Hunter Let's Play this week at the very least, and enjoy more of that. That'll be fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it so far. Like just even talking about it right now, I just want to really hop back into it. Yeah, so fun. So. How's the technical performance for you?
For me?
Yeah, just like frame rate and stuff on the regular PS4.
On the regular PS4, there's some hiccups when I get more than one monster on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, it doesn't look as good, obviously, as the PS4 Pro, just because it's not a Pro, obviously. But other than that, it's not too bad. It runs fine for me.
Yeah, I on the Pro, it gives you 3 options to either prioritize frame rate, graphics, or resolution. And of course, I pick the frame rate. And I think Digital Foundry put out a video, and it typically hovers in the mid 30s to 40s. And for the most part, I haven't had many massive stutters. Like you said, if I get like a Rathalos and a Ajanarth or Nath or whatever it's called on the same screen, I might get a little bit of a slowdown. But for the most part, it's pretty. It's not really. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not noticeable, really.
Yeah. And
the game's so fun. It's like I really don't care.
Yeah. So as long as like my combat isn't hindered, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the one thing, is that I have felt like I don't think I've been killed, or I felt like I've been screwed by a slowdown or anything. That hasn't happened.
I feel like I've been screwed because of hitboxes sometimes, but that's not really.
Yeah, there are a few times where I've just died in one hit, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes a dragon will charge and I'll be like 5 feet to the side of it and I'll get hit somehow. It's weird.
I was fighting a Rathian by myself yesterday, one of the high rank ones, and he does this tail swipe, and I've been hit by it a million times, but this one time he does it, it just like pins me against a wall and I just automatically die. So just stuff like that. But that is really just such a picky or just minuscule thing in the scheme of things, because overall, like you said, in terms of games like this, just this style of game, this is probably one of my favorites that I've played. So yeah.
It's going to be a favorite for my game of the year for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be. Especially when I know that they're gonna keep updating and stuff. I think they made a comment saying that they didn't really want to treat this as a games as a service.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to put out a set amount of content, which I believe is free as well. And once it's over, it's probably over. And I was talking to Jay, which my uncle is also very much into this game, which is really crazy because I didn't even try and sell it on him. He just kind of, like Garrett was saying, he just woke up. He just was hearing so much, and he saw everybody was playing it, so he decided to.
Speaking of him, I do want to play with each of you more. Go kill some stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's up where I am. He's got the full Zora armor as well. Like he's
past me now.
Yeah, he's really into it. So what was I saying? I don't even remember the point of what I was saying. But yeah, I'll be playing this. Well, I would like to be playing this for a while. The more they oh yeah, I completely remember what I was saying. But and not to be a knock against this game, but like you said, the environments aren't massive. It graphically is a fine looking game. It's by no means the production of like a Grand Theft Auto, but hardly anything is. So I would be completely fine if they're not treating this like a games of service. If we get one of these games every year or year and a half,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not exactly sure how this would be something for us to be corrected on or told down in the comments or Discord, is how often these Monster Hunter games have been coming out. So I would be for having one come out every year or year and a half.
So you want the old school Assassin's Creed treatment?
Yeah. For sure.
The annual treatment.
That's the thing, is like the core of the game is so good. If they just add different weapons and new environments and new armors and new monsters and stuff, and they don't really have to change any like core elements to it, because I feel like just if they kind of tweak everything, they already have something that's really awesome. So that's kind of just what I mean, is they don't have to, like Assassin's Creed needed to reinvent the wheel. There are these franchises that have to redo everything. This franchise doesn't. It's awesome. They can tweak some things.
You would hope after the success of this game being on the PS4 and Xbox One that they would keep putting them on these consoles after seeing, the millions of sales that this game in particular has gotten.
Dude, that Monster Hunter that's on Switch exclusively in Japan, I would bet the farm that thing is coming to America now due to the success of this thing. I think it's like...
I wonder what it's like. I might go look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I remember when we were working at GameStop, buddy and I, Jacob and I worked with, was playing that game. He was crazy about it at the time. So I'm sure he's loving Monster Hunter World as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know. I tried to play the 3DS ones, and it's this game on a really small screen. Granted, the sections that are cut off, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, they were their own areas that you had to load into. I don't know. It's just without having another analog stick or being as precise as some of these movements have to be. Like I could not do that on a 3DS. So I'm really glad that hopefully for the foreseeing future we're going to be getting games on consoles. Hopefully next time we can get the PC version on release as well, because that'd be cool. I'm probably going to be so deep into this one that there's no way I'm going to start over on PC.
Oh yeah, I'm not playing it PC.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would love to see what it looks like though on PC, running at a higher frame rate. I'm sure it'd be awesome. But yeah.
Back to your annual idea for a second. Here's a suggestion to mix things up. You could feature another crossover like they've done with Horizon, with Monster Hunter World, and do the Monstars from Space Jam.
That's the best idea I've ever heard.
Have a Looney Tunes crossover, and you can kill all the Monstars and get all their different jerseys.
You can be two characters. You can be Bugs or Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
Okay. I'd like that.
Doesn't sound like he likes it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm excited.
I would
for
quit
the,
all the jobs in school I have to play that expansion or that crossover.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the next Horizon event. I think we'll get some armor that looks like Aloy, I believe.
Is there confirmed to be another one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
That is. Garrett, the one right now, you can get your Palico to look like a Watcher.
Yeah, I saw someone had a picture of a watch. I think it was one of your pictures, maybe.
Yeah. It even sounds like it too. It's, that metal clinking when it walks.
Yeah. The lights will, if you get in a fight, the lights will turn red on him too. So
That's cool.
yeah, they definitely did those little tiny things that really sell it instead of it just, just being a generic skin swap.
My Palico's still wearing that armor and weapon.
No, me too. I actually honestly forgot about my Palico. I didn't even know you could get different weapons for him.
Oh yeah.
There's I know there's quests in every area that you can do to get a new weapon, and I saw one. There was one that buffs your damage and defense, and there's one that he'll set a shock trap for you, and then there's another one where he'll it'll get you more materials when you're fighting somebody. So I need to go out and hunt for those as well. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Monster Hunter World. I love it.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much beat it to death at this point.
It's funny, we're an hour in, and the last thing I remember was like 10 minutes in until I woke back up.
Nice.
So I look forward to listening to this episode, or at least while editing. I lied at the beginning. I forgot about 2 games I played prior to the week beginning. On Sunday night, I played both Divinity Original Sin 2 and Subnautica. And while I was downloading Subnautica, I started playing Divinity just because it was sitting there, and I had, for some reason, looked up the soundtrack to that game randomly because I remember really liking the music, and the main theme to that game is just so gorgeous, and I was like, well, got to play that now. So played Divinity for about 5 hours straight that evening, off and on in between Subnautica. I don't know why I was bouncing between the two. I played Subnautica for about an hour, and I was like, I can't go back to Divinity. I'd play that for 2 hours, and I'd go back to Subnautica, and then I'd go back to Divinity. I did that for about 5 hours straight. But Divinity was awesome. I finally escaped Fort Joy.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm technically into like the main game now, I guess you could say.
Did you get on the boat?
So, no, not yet. I escaped like the stupidest way. I just went through the main castle and killed everyone.
Oh, nice.
And just walked right through. So I did it the very probably the worst way you could do it. But yeah, I did that. Will I have time to play it again? Definitely not anytime soon. Same thing with Subnautica. It was cool. I've never been into survival games, but the premise alone of Subnautica sold me on wanting to play that. And I think the idea is brilliant. I love how it's an open ocean, kind of similar to No Man's Sky with open planets, but it's an open ocean. Different levels, got to create different scuba suits and oxygen tanks and submarines to go deeper into the ocean to scavenge for better materials. You can build like an underwater base and everything. You got to survive with drinking and eating and everything. So it was cool for a time. I don't know if I'll have time to play that anytime soon either.
Yeah.
So
speaking about new games,
cool.
I do want to try Celeste here pretty soon.
Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it was Celeste.
No, Celeste, whatever.
What's it? How do you pronounce it?
I think you're right, Celeste.
Celeste. Okay.
I've heard
But it
it as
does look
Celeste.
intriguing to me.
Yeah, everyone's raving about that too. And I watched gameplay and it looked like Super Meat Boy to me. And I was like,
Looks better than that.
yeah, but it looked like that style of gameplay
The
was supposed to be
levels
like
look pretty dynamic.
speedy episodes jumping around and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been kind of itching to play a good platformer recently. So.
it sounds fun for Switch. I'd like to try it. Is it on Switch?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's
where
where
it's best apparently.
Yeah, I would imagine so. A
Yeah.
game like that. So that's where I'll probably play it when I pick it up. Inevitably, pick it up on my next trip and actually play it. Unlike whatever I bought. What was it? Rocket League. I can't even remember the name. It's funny I say that. I take back what I said about Rocket League. Where I was like, I was so bored. I was bored at the time because I was playing by myself. But me, Jacob, Evan, and Elliot played against AI characters in Rocket League on his projector the other night, and it was actually a ton of fun. We got our asses kicked by the AI
We had
on
all these
expert.
random modes on.
Yeah, we had weird modifiers on where we had indefinite boosting.
The
could
ball
fly
was moving
around.
really quickly.
The ball was shaped like a cube and everything. It had like super gravity where if it hit a wall, it'd bounce for like 30 minutes straight and everything. But it was really fun. So I don't mean to harp on Rocket League. When I play with friends, I really enjoy that game. So, but yeah, I think that's all I played this week. Jacob, did you ever go into what you played aside from? I guess you did with Overwatch and everything too.
Yeah, and Zelda.
So,
Garrett, we could talk about the hunt.
the Hunt Showdown.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. Obviously, the frame rate is just atrocious. Hopefully, they fix that soon, at least for the sake. Is it beta now? Or is it alpha? I keep
It's
forgetting.
alpha.
Yes, alpha.
Okay. So hopefully they tighten that up soon, because I can tell that game's going to be super cool when it's optimized, like we were talking about. Even graphically, I think it'll look really beautiful when it's finished. But it was fun. I like the idea where I believe there's 4 teams, or there's 8 hunters total, unless you're playing duos. There's 4 teams of 2 hunters. And me and Preston were playing duos, and you spawn in the world, and all in different locations, and you hunt for the clues that will reveal smaller portions of your map where you can find the main boss you're meant to kill, the monster you're hunting. And Preston and I never made it to a boss, but every match we played, people would find it, and we'd track them down and either get killed by them or chase after them. The final match we played, we ambushed some guys. They got the monster, and we hid in the woods and waited for him, and Preston managed to kill both of them. I ran around like an idiot the whole time. I grabbed the the artifact off one of them and helped us escape at the end. But that's cool. The only concerns we have are, what's the incentive to go after the monster when you can simply just wait for an enemy team to go after it, and you can just ambush them every single time? There needs to be more of an incentive to go after it. I'm sure you get more experience and more gear and more rewards for actually doing it yourself. But at the same time, unless there's like a massive difference in experience gain and everything, or currency gained, I don't see the point of just going after it yourself every time. But the world is super creepy. I mean, me and Preston, even playing together, were super creeped out the entire time. I love the atmosphere. Amazing sound design as well. The monsters, when they're chasing you, sound absolutely terrifying. The voice proximity design is really good as well. Like if Preston's too far away in the trees, I can barely hear him and stuff. And you can actually whisper. Like we were hiding in the woods whispering when the guys were getting closer. And it's funny because we got so used to whispering to each other that even playing Siege, we had a habit of whispering to each other at all times because we thought people could hear us. But it was a fun time. I kind of want to try it again, despite how rough it performs.
Yeah, if it ever gets an update in this alpha, I definitely would be open to going and trying it again. The thing that it absolutely nailed, and you hinted on it a little bit, is just the atmosphere of the game. I haven't felt so creeped out in a long time playing a game. It just, that pit in your stomach that you have when you're playing like PUBG or you're the last one alive in Siege or something, where you know that people are out there looking for you, and you can die so fast, and you know you're just so vulnerable. I had that feeling times 10 playing The Hunt, because there are people out there, but there are also these just grotesque creatures that are just roaming around. There are these dogs, these zombie things. There's this one like old woman with her back broken and this like spike sticking out with like a hive of insects that she can send after you.
Will poison you.
Yeah, and there are these just I can't even describe them. Those big dudes, Garrett, you know, that just don't have a head walking around.
They look like like a tree's growing out of them or something.
Yeah.
Their rib cage is cracked open, and their arms like a tree branch with like long fingers and stuff.
Yeah, just awful. And it very much has like a Bloodborne vibe. It's like that old gothic is it 1800s aesthetic. All the rifles are lever action.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought while we were playing. Is it reminds me of Bloodborne, like a shooter version of Bloodborne in a way.
Yeah, and I don't know, just like I said, the enemies look really cool. The aiming is almost intentionally sluggish to an extent.
It gives you the feeling that you're holding like an actual heavy rifle that you can't keep perfectly still.
Yeah.
Especially at long range, if you're trying to aim down the sights on someone, your gun sways a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a way to hold your breath we haven't figured out yet. Maybe there isn't.
I mean, I'm sure there's a perk or something that you'll get eventually that'll maybe help that.
Yeah, but that is interesting. A couple of the firefights we got in was tough at long range, but it's very satisfying if you pull off a headshot from long range as well. From what I've heard, one shot, one kill, always in the head.
Yeah. So, and that's what I actually really like about the few firefights that we were actually in this game, is that they actually last. I know it seems in the moment they last for like 5 minutes, but the 15 seconds seems like it lasts long, because typically in a FPS, if you see somebody, it's within like 2 or 3 seconds one of you is dropping. But
Right.
with you having like a bolt action rifle or a lever action rifle or just a revolver, you're not really able to pull off fast consecutive shots. So if you miss, you have to reload or pump it again, and hope you get the next shot. And like you said, the aiming is a little wonky and stuff, so the firefights can last longer than you're used to in a first person shooter, and that just makes it super exhilarating when you're just in these woods with these things around you that hear your gunfire and they're being drawn to you, but other players are also being drawn to your gunshots. And you're running in between trees and stuff, trying to hide, trying to get that 1 or 2 shots that you need to finally put down the other person. It really made my heart pound. I know Garrett was talking, he said earlier how we cut off this other team that had the bounty and we were hiding in the woods. Dude, I can't remember the last time my heart was beating as fast as it was in a game. Just when I saw the guy coming towards me and I shot, and my first shot missed, and I just a feeling of just angst came over me, because I knew that me missing that shot was going to screw us both up. And I was luckily able to pull off the kill by me and this guy just going back and forth, running in between trees and stuff, and I finally got him. And I was calling for Garrett, but he wasn't near me. And like you said, the proximity chat in this game, you have to be somewhat near. So I didn't know if Garrett had been killed or not. So I'm kind of freaking out, calling for him, and thankfully you just pop up behind the dead body, and you're like, oh, you got him, cool. Which was super yeah, I had a sigh of relief, and we had to take out another guy as we escaped. But man, that was just completely exhilarating, cutting those guys off, taking their bounty from all the hard work they did, killing this spider-looking creature.
Just a couple geezers hiding in the woods like some hobos.
Yeah, and escaping with that. So I do think that the game definitely has potential, and I think the more you play it, and I watch somebody else play it, and the zombie things aren't hard at all to kill. You can just smack them one time with your knife, so they're not as threatening as I really thought they were initially coming in, not knowing anything. So I'm sure that'll make the game like far less scarier, and I'm sure the more you play it, that feeling that I'm talking about will go away, and I'm sure a lot of people won't even have that feeling at all. But that definitely makes this game stand out for me, though. Just that feeling that it gave me in the first couple of matches. So I do think it can be really cool, and I hope they, like you said, make the performance better. Because even with my computer running on a 1080 Ti, I was only able to really run it well in 1080p, and I was able to keep a 60 frames for the most part, but every now and then it would drop to 40 or 30, which is pretty crazy. But it is an alpha, so it is what it is. So
yeah, really fun though. I hope they fix it up soon.
Yeah. Oh, one more.
I want to play more of it.
One more thing about it. I do think a really cool mechanic is that the character that you hire, if he dies, he is dead, and you have
he's gone.
You have to go get another character. So,
and the gear that you had on that character as well is gone.
Yeah. Now you do have another your blood line, I believe is what it's called, but it's a whole nother level that actually allows you to unlock the weapons. So if you did get a shotgun that you really like, you have it unlocked. You just have to buy it again. And based on the beta, they weren't that expensive. It was like $7 or $8, but that might vary in the full game's release. But yeah, definitely cool.
Real money?
No. In-game money.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure there might be.
Do you see microtransactions?
Pay for something I've already gotten?
Yeah, I don't know how they would do microtransactions in this game. I guess for cosmetics, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, cool game, cool idea. I think I told Jacob before I got into it, I knew nothing about the game, and I just because I was playing so much Monster Hunter, I envisioned it as a first-person Monster Hunter, and I was completely wrong. unfortunately. I do think that's a cool idea, though, to have a first-person Monster Hunter. Mix Destiny with Monster Hunter, and I think
then you
that'd
can
be
see
cool.
your cool shit.
That's true.
You
Well,
just see your weapon.
you can't see your cool shit in Destiny either, and people go for it.
Yeah. But look where Destiny is.
Hey, we know half of the reason that people try and get cool shit is to show it off.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why using swords in Destiny is so cool, because you can actually see your character.
Yeah, that's true. Destiny's
You guys want to
so
get into
cool.
the news?
Sure, man. Garrett, anything else you have to say, or are you asleep?
I don't think so. My brain's not functioning, so I'm good to do whatever we're gonna do next.
All right, sounds good. This is the It's Obvious Gaming podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously, you can find all of our content, including the video version of this podcast, over at, well, not today, but you can typically find the video version of this podcast over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. If YouTube isn't good for you, or you'd like to take us on the go, you can find this podcast weekly at iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Audio Boom, and other podcasting services. Please check the description down below for timestamps to skip throughout the podcast, links to our social media pages, our PlayStation Club, Xbox community, and Discord channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel down below, and be sure to like and comment down below to get involved with the It's Obvious community. Doing so helps us out tremendously, and we would forever be in your debt. With all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
How do you guys feel about that rumor floating around that Microsoft wants to acquire EA?
I think it's a load of baloney.
Jacob,
I think maybe some talks have happened.
when's the
but
last
maybe-
time?
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
When's the last time you ate bologna, Jacob?
God, I couldn't tell you, dude.
Probably elementary
I
school
grew
for me.
up on bologna. For
Bologna
sure.
and,
I think every
uh,
90s kid ate bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
Bologna and mustard on white bread.
Yeah, like, why?
Bologna, mustard, and
What
yellow
animal does
cheese.
bologna come from? Is it a different part of a pig?
No, dude, bologna is processed meat. It's like, it's just a bunch of meat combined.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's
Bologna.
just easy to package.
Yeah,
Bologna. It's so
Bologna.
unhealthy.
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I haven't eaten bologna in, God, 10 plus years.
That's not that long ago. 10 years, man.
Probably more than that, I would imagine.
Think about this. In another 3 years, we will have been out of high school for 10 years.
Yeah, oh, God.
Isn't that wild?
It's probably 20 years then
Yeah.
for bologna.
I haven't had it since elementary school, at least. I think I woke up one day and realized, I'm like, this is kind of gross.
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
I'd much rather have like deli meat. Why would you not put deli meat instead of bologna?
I don't know. Why? I don't. That's a great question. I mean, I've never really thought about this. Why are we being fed processed meat?
I don't know. Why do people eat spam?
You still eat processed meat.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not
Yeah.
to that extent.
Who knows what's in the Taco Bell meat we eat?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I try not to think about that. But boar's head, for example, you at least know that's mostly real.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually looking into bologna right now, and it is from a place called Bologna, Italy.
Interesting.
Over there, it's a thick Italian sausage feckled with bits of fat, peppercorns, and sometimes pistachios.
I don't feel like that's what it is here.
No, it's commercially sold in the U.S. like hot dogs, which are lumped into the same category.
Yeah, they do kind of taste and look the same.
Yeah, I mean, like if you go buy cheap, crappy hot dogs, Lord knows what's in those things either.
Yeah, like Oscar Mayer sells a hot dog and a bologna.
Yeah, they do.
Like together?
Yeah, well, not in the same package, but they have
yeah.
two products.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's probably
that's the kind of
exact same
bologna that
meat,
I
just
had.
shaped differently.
I had Oscar Mayer when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Both hot dogs and bologna.
How does the theme song for Oscar Mayer go again?
I don't know.
Oscar Mayer wiener.
Remember that stupid little whistle that they had in the toy cars that looked like the Oscar Mayer wheel?
I remember the car.
Why was that a thing?
I don't know. Yeah, the Oscar Mayer mobile.
Why'd they have a car?
Something wiener.
Didn't they actually make a life-size car that was shaped like that?
Yeah, in the ads, I remember seeing one.
So stupid.
I'm looking-
Wienerman.
It's a giant penis.
I'm looking at a package of Oscar Mayer bologna right now, and it says it is made from chicken and pork, and it says it's quality meat with no fillers.
Quality.
Quality.
The
meat,
back says
my
it's
ass.
mechanically separated chicken, pork, water, kern syrup, ground mustard, kern syrup, sodium nitrates,
That's a lot of
You
shit.
don't want any nitrates in your meat.
It has something called kern syrup in it.
It's $2 though, so
Yeah, I need to take a shit so bad.
you can make a.
I pooped some nugs before we started this episode.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about how this Microsoft EA rumor. I think Jacob hit the nail on the head with the bologna comparison.
Sorry, I had to
It
stress.
sounds like a bunch of processed meat with cornflakes in it.
That's all EA is to me.
What do you think, Preston?
I honestly don't know enough about this. I've seen it kind of floating around. I didn't really look into it. I don't know. I would actually be fine with Microsoft buying it because they're so just consumer friendly lately. Right. I feel like they could maybe, put their foot down on some EA practices, so it might benefit us.
You got to wonder why EA would sell when, despite their PR situation they're in, they still make just a butt ton of money. Granted, they're like, we only sold 9 million copies of Battlefront.
Yeah, I think I was wrong. I do not believe Battlefront was not the second best selling game of the year last year. I was incorrect. It was like 7 or 8, which is still really good. I think it was the 2nd of December. It was the best selling game second best selling game of December. So
it makes sense with Star Wars coming out that month too.
I got my facts wrong there, so I apologize.
Well, we've lost all of our credibility like we do every week. So
it's funny. I was listening to a podcast after we filmed ours, and they were talking about the best sold games of the year. And when they got to number 2, I was like, "Oh shit, that was wrong."
What was number 2?
Like NBA 2K18.
Celeste?
I think.
No, it was Destiny.
No, I don't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Destiny. It was Call of Duty then Destiny.
No, I don't think so.
Was it Madden, dude?
I bet I'm right.
I don't think you are.
Man, poor Destiny is doomed.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
It might be. They're making a lot of great changes to it right now.
I read that sheet that came out, and I was instantly bored. Like the first 3 sentences in, I was like, "Oh god!"
It's good that they're fixing the game, but I just could care less now.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to care at all anymore.
I mean, I've already bought the season pass, so I kind of just have to play the next DLC.
I hope they invite me back to the studio, though. Regardless. I'd like to go back again. What were we talking about? I was going to say, this is random. While I fell asleep, I was going to say it before I dozed off for a little bit, that Dragon Ball FighterZ, I feel like would have been far better off not coming out around Monster Hunter. I think that was a goof. They should have waited.
I mean, it still sold very well. They shipped 2 million copies.
Yeah, it sold well. I'm saying it probably would have sold a little bit.
That's what you got.
Yeah, I think it would have sold a little bit better if Monster Hunter hadn't come out right after it.
I also think those are 2 completely different demographics as well.
Yeah, they are, but at the same time, we're like not only a lot of people in our community, but the 3 of us were both, or at least you and I were interested in both to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So
I bought both.
Not that we can't get both of them, but some people, have to choose between one or the other. So, and I was in that situation too. If I wanted to pick one, I was going to have to choose one or the other. I haven't picked either yet, but I would have picked one over the other for sure. And it sounds like I would have gone with Monster Hunter if I had the time.
Dang, Jacob, I think you're right. I think Destiny 2 was the second best selling game of the year.
And do you have like the list in front of you?
I think so. There's so many different lists. Like, because I swear the one I heard, it was NBA.
I want to guess number 3.
Or what's number
3 is NBA.
It is, yeah. NBA is number 3.
Then like Wildlands, I'm sure is up there too.
Wildlands is 5. That's crazy, dude.
I know.
That's crazy. Who's talking about Wildlands? That
seems like our Discord.
That just went under the radar though for me. I mean, I bought it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun game. We've yet to play that together.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've cleared out 3 areas of the map. Like, did everything. I put a decent chunk of time into it. I think it's awesome. 4 is Madden.
Well, is there anything else we want to say about the EA and Xbox? Try and get on track here.
I don't know.
My time is limited.
I don't think so. I would be open to it just for consumer friendliness, I believe. So
what about the PUBG acquisition, Bluehole or PUBG Corp? Because I know that was kind of bundled in there as well.
I could see that more likely.
Yeah,
to happen.
I think I don't know. I don't know if they would do that because it sounds like a while. I mean, money, money speaks. So if Microsoft shoves enough money at PUBG Corp, then I'm sure they would do it. But I don't know. It seems like that they really want to get their game out on PlayStation as well, because that would.
Yeah, I think it'd be very foolish not to get it out on PlayStation.
How many more millions of copies would they sell on PlayStation?
Yeah, don't do what they did with Tomb Raider, where it suffered because of it.
I mean, I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that it wouldn't come out on PlayStation, right? Because I mean, Minecraft still comes out on PlayStation. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like it was already on PlayStation. It was already a established franchise on other platforms, whereas PUBG hasn't come to PlayStation yet. And if Microsoft can keep it on the Xbox platform, that would obviously drive console sales to Xbox. But I don't know. I think PUBG really wants to get it out on PlayStation as well, because they sold 3 or 4 million copies on Xbox. Imagine how many copies they would sell on PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I meant to tell you, Preston, I played PUBG on Xbox at Evans on his projector a few nights ago. I got 5 kills in a match. It was pretty exciting. I don't think I've ever gotten. Actually, I've probably gotten 5 kills once in PC.
On regular Xbox or Xbox One?
Yeah, on Xbox One.
How was it?
It was terrible.
I told you.
Not terrible to the sense where it's unplayable, but compared to PC, man, it's a disaster. Yeah, obviously there's no aim assist. I mean, on a controller, I feel like you just kind of need a little bit of aim assist. Yeah. Aiming with your thumbs is very difficult, and it was very difficult to aim in that game. And just the frame rate running at 30 frames, and it hiccups every now and then too. I mean, even PUBG on PC hiccups from time to time still.
Yeah.
But jump into that 30 FPS and that 0 aim assist. Now, there's no aim assist on PC, but as everyone knows, aiming with a keyboard and mouse is much easier than it is on a controller.
I mean, there is an aim assist on PC for the most part.
There is?
No, there's not.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, even on a controller without it is very difficult. But I managed to get 5 kills. It was a fun, exciting match to play. But
you did pretty well.
It's definitely not the ideal PUBG experience, that's for sure. I mean, I'm sure anyone can answer that for themselves, but that's definitely something I confirm for myself that I'd much rather play on PC.
Were you really snooty about it when you were there?
No, I was not. I was not, actually. I've never been like that. I was just like, the only thing I did say is that it was very hard to aim. And other than that, I was like, oh, that was cool. So
you should have thrown their Xbox on the ground and took a piss on it.
Yeah, should have been like, you guys are peasants. You need to join the master race.
Why is your foot still down here where I can put my feet on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of EA, they're claiming they're going to double down on microtransactions with Star Wars Battlefront. You think this is a terrible idea?
No. I mean...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's just what they're going to do.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, does it even matter at all? It was kind of like this big thing. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, how dare they?
I mean, they said forever ago that they were going to implement
They were going to bring them back, yeah.
They're trying to redesign the whole
progression system,
leveling experience.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I hope they kill it. I hope there's just this insane progression system that's awesome, and I'd
love to go back and play. As I said, I'm sticking to multiplayer experiences anyway at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Do I have hope that it will be amazing? No, I don't think it will. But
that would be great.
I mean, that game's doomed. It's already over.
The game is fun. The gameplay is fun. If they just give me a carrot at the end of the stick to chase after, then cool. But they don't have that at all right now. Like, I'm not like, oh man, I need to finish 4 matches to get my next star card, and hopefully it can level up this
oh gosh,
character.
This is the problem. I don't want to, obviously we don't want to spend too much time in this because it's kind of a pointless discussion, but just very briefly, what would you like to see as the progression system in Battlefront? Like, what would entice you to want to level up and earn whatever it is you're earning?
Skins.
That's it.
Yeah, I would like skins, or I'd kind of like it to take I would like it for it to take the Call of Duty route, just where I know that as I'm leveling up, I'm just accumulating more weapons, and I can customize my weapons. And I know that gets a little iffy because I know it might not correlate with Star Wars lore and stuff, but just as a game, I know that's what keeps me coming back. It's like skins on weapons, skins for characters, and I know they've made it very clear that they don't really want to do stuff like that. I know the big example people make fun of is when they mention like a pink Darth Vader or whatever. But
right, which there's a mod for now that they're not preventing.
Yeah,
so I mean, they might as well just go all in on crazy. Yeah,
I mean, it's a game. If you're gonna let if Lucas or Disney is gonna let
Darth Maul and Rey fight alongside each other.
Then I can have a pink Darth Vader, or I can put a tiger camo skin on my blaster or something like that, or put a red dot sight on it. So
I'd even still be fine with skins that are rooted in Star Wars lore. Like, oh, my stormtrooper's all muddy in this one, or this stormtrooper has the blood stain from Finn's helmet from Force Awakens or something.
Exactly. So you can just join a match of Battlefront 2 and see a pink Darth Vader.
Yeah, if someone has that mod.
That's awesome.
So there's a white Darth Vader too.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to have something to work towards, because just multiplayer experiences are my bread and butter right now, because I have about an hour to play video games a week recreationally. So I'm hoping for the best with that one. One last EA story: Anthem is officially confirmed to be "quote unquote" not delayed to 2019, just pushed, but to fit into that fiscal 2019. I think it's the 2019 fiscal year begins this March, correct? Because the 2018 one, no, 2018's begins in this March.
Yes,
am I right?
I believe so.
Okay. So prior to that fiscal year ending, they'll obviously want to have it out. But so we're assuming anytime between January and March of next year. My bet would be at the very beginning of March, probably. They're probably going to need every minute they can get on that one, because they have to get it right, obviously. But that doesn't really bother me at all, because I actually was totally unaware that it was planned for fall 2018 to begin with. So I was expecting
know they said
2020 with that.
But even when they unveiled that game at E3, I knew, I was like, nope. That's not coming out. Yeah, it's not coming out.
You're just looking at a project like Destiny. They tried so many different release dates, and it just kept getting pushed back. So I just kind of assumed that this would too.
You can, I mean, you can just tell with games like that where it looks too good. It looks too good to be a game.
They're so ambitious.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the same thing we saw with The Division. I was like, man, that game ain't coming out forever based on the first demo they showed us. So granted, it's not going to be as long, but yeah, I could totally tell that that's not coming out in 2018. So I have,
in addition to that, what were you going to say?
I was saying, I know we talked about it last week, but I have I don't want to say high hopes, but I am positive about Anthem. I think that it definitely has potential to be awesome, and I want to have hope and think that it will be awesome.
Yeah, likewise. I don't know why anyone would want it to fail. So.
No, because EA is publishing it.
Yeah, that's exactly why. In addition to that news, they claim that a new Battlefield's coming out this year.
Hardline 2.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. It's probably going to be one of their previous franchises.
Oh, I've heard
not franchises, but
Bad Company is supposed to come back.
Yeah, like a Bad Company 3, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'd be open to that. Take the graphical fidelity of Battlefield 1, and add that to a Bad Company.
Battlefield 1's a beautiful game.
You could pretty much just port Battlefield 1 and reskin it, and I'd be happy with that. Like a modern take.
Don't give them any ideas, Garrett.
I'd be excited to play Battlefield on my PC.
I really want to try it on PC for sure.
Do you guys do
I loved it on PS4.
EA Access?
No.
I do. I think it's a good deal. It's $5 a month, and I have.
Is Battlefield 1 on there?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, dude, I should probably sign up for that.
Is a new release on there too?
Is what?
Are new releases on there too?
No. You get you can play them early, like if you buy it with EA Access. I think a few days early or a week early or something.
I know we did Mass Effect Andromeda a little bit with that. I think I may still be signed up for that now that I think about it, because I don't recall ever canceling my subscription after the Mass Effect thing.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's $5.
I'm part of the problem.
I think it's $5, but I'm looking at the vault right now, and if you join for the $5, you can get FIFA 17, Titanfall 2, Andromeda, Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, Star Wars Battlefront 1, Titanfall, Battlefield 1, Mass Effect 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Crysis 3, Plants vs. Zombies, Battlefield 3, just a butt ton of EA games, all the Dead
Battlefield
Spaces,
3 is a fun one too.
All the Dragon Ages, all the Mass Effects.
Dude.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good deal for what it is.
I would play the crap out of Mass Effect 2 again.
Dude, Mass Effect 2 on PC disappointed me. There's no sensitivity slider for the mouse, so the sensitivity.
Oh, so it's like locked to the same sensitivity.
It's so high, and you have to like go into the game files and change it. And I was too tired to do it.
Oh, that's terrible! I hate having to do that.
Yeah.
I tried doing that with Fallout, and it was giving me all kinds of issues.
Oh, I didn't have any issues with Fallout.
Yeah, I mean my Fallout ran fine, but I wanted to change my aspect ratio for some reason. I got it to work finally, but it was doing all kinds of weird stuff at first.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Yeah, Access is a pretty sweet deal. And also, speaking of deals, man, Humble Bundle is the jam, dude. They keep surprising me. Every month the new game comes out. I sent you all a thing saying that Dark Souls 3 was the game this month. For just $12 a month, you get like Dark Souls 3, but also you get like 6 or 7 other free games alongside with it. I forgot what the last month was, like Civilization 6. The month before that was Quantum Break, but they also give you like a ton of extra games. So that's also a fantastic place to be subscribed to get a ton of games, dude. Because of Humble Bundle, primarily, I'm up to like 110 games on Steam. They just keep giving them to me.
Jeez.
I like that, man.
Yeah, sick.
I think I have 4.
I want to download
Nice.
Battlefield after this. I'm pretty sure I'm still signed up.
Nice. Oh, also a little disclaimer for you people out there, and also Jacob, because I don't think you know this, but Humble Bundle is having a Rockstar sale where you can literally buy every single Rockstar game minus GTA 5 to ever come out. I'm talking Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, LA Noire, Manhunt, GTA 4, GTA Liberty City Stories, Max Payne 1, 2, and 3, the Seasons Pass, all of that stuff for $15, and you get all of it.
It's pretty rad.
Does that arouse you?
It arouses me.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. We were just laughing at these pictures on this Instagram account. You'll like this one, Jacob.
All right. What's the next thing? We got sidetracked again.
Speaking of delays, Red Dead was delayed officially to October 26th of this year, and then every fall game scattered to the wilderness everywhere else. So that kind of sucks. It was delayed, but at least we know it will probably more than likely come out on that day.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited. How do you guys feel about those new images they released along with the announcement?
Pretty cool looking.
Pretty cool.
It looks gorgeous. I cannot wait to explore that world, man.
No PC.
It's just a crying
logo.
shame it's not coming to PC day one.
I know.
Like the poop that's trying to crawl out of me right now.
Me too.
Like every single episode, it wants to crawl out even faster because of that. So it's a major
Great
bummer.
comparison.
Yeah. So that was upsetting, but you know, it is what it is. That's video games, man.
I'll be playing it day one for sure.
Oh, you and me both. That's my most anticipated game of the year right now.
Same.
So
Actually, Kingdom Hearts 3 is my most anticipated.
Dude,
if it makes it this
get
year.
out of here.
F that,
F
dude.
that.
Guys, have faith.
F
I need to
that.
have faith.
Yeah, I'll be excited for that
The
as
most
well. I will
hyped
say,
game of the year is Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, and you all know
oh, hell yeah, dude. I know you can crossplay with Xbox,
it.
can you?
Hell yeah, dude!
Dude, I am so effing
Get that
pumped.
game on your Xbox One and play with me on PC, Garrett, please.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Speaking of most anticipated games, Black Ops 4. I hope the rumor's true. Do you, Jacob?
I didn't know that was a rumor.
It's a rumor. Black Ops floor. Black Ops 4 is the next Call of Duty. It will be Treyarch again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be.
I still, in my mind, the kings of Call of Duty, with the exception of Infinity War's Infinite Warfare campaign. That's the best Call of Duty campaign I've played, and we'll see how Treyarch follows it up.
Infinite Warfare.
Now, multiplayer Treyarch is still king of the castle there.
Infinity Ward's campaigns are still the best, for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. There's never been an Infinity War or any other Call of Duty campaign better than an Infinity War campaign, in my opinion.
I agree.
Which is a shame because I'd love to have a campaign of that caliber every single year.
Did you say Infinity War?
Infinity Ward. Sorry, my nose is very stuffed. It's hard for me to pronounce certain words in this moment.
Okay.
I'm not excited about the idea of a Black Ops 4 personally. I've had my fill of Black Ops. I want something new from Treyarch.
I'm fine with Black Ops 4. I enjoy the aesthetic and, you know, how the maps are designed.
That's the thing, though. Think about Black Ops 3, where you're running on walls, and it's...
I don't
they
think
added
they'll
running
do
on
that.
walls in Black Ops 3,
I don't
didn't
think
they?
they'll do that.
You think they'll cut that?
Yeah.
Because it was so pointless. Because I didn't realize, because I always knew something was off about it, even though I've always liked that in games. I even remember on this podcast, I was like, what's the point of playing Titanfall? Because you can run on walls in Call of Duty now.
Yeah.
And it took me playing both games extensively to realize the profound differences in the two, specifically with map design and just core gameplay in general. And then I watched another video by Faven, which I'm not a huge fan of this guy, but I happened to stumble across this video where he lists the reasons why running on walls and sliding and crap doesn't make sense. And at least in Infinite Warfare, I think he compared Black Ops 3 to it as well. And my eyes were completely open as to how stupid that was in that game. So hopefully they cut it entirely if they do Black Ops 4.
I think they're going to go back to a modern day, and it's going to like go back in time.
See, I think I would be open to that. It's basically, it would be like Modern Warfare 4 in disguise as Black Ops, which why wouldn't you just call it Modern Warfare 4? But I guess it could just be Black Ops, like you said, in modern day. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
That's how Black Ops started, you know. Just a regular old shooter.
Yeah, it was in Vietnam. So,
yeah.
Preston, what would you like to see?
I mean, if they want to do even more, something even deeper into the future than Black Ops 3, then whatever. This might be the first Call of Duty game that I don't buy.
Same with me. If it's Black Ops 4 and it's in the future, I may skip it.
The campaign, I need to wait on the campaign, because the campaign for Black Ops 3, I hated it. It was trash. Yeah. It was that crap that I was talking about when Halo went multiplayer for campaign, and that was like the thing. I cannot stand 4-player co-op campaigns, because it takes out that single player like cinematic experience that I love from Call of Duty. So if they stick with that, then I'm definitely like, I'm opting out. So I'll kind of just wait on the campaign. But if they do go into the future, I really hope that Infinity Ward the next year goes to a like modern combat, because I really want diversity between, you know, 3 different eras in Call of Duty. I would love World War II, futuristic, and then a modern shooter, and know that, you know, if whatever era you're a fan of, you have a game in that era coming out, you know, at some point, you know, along the line. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, even from not only a business standpoint, but from a creative standpoint, it just makes total sense for the variety of not only the developers to mix things up, but also for the consumer to have something new every year. And you don't even really have to necessarily do trilogies every single time, too. It would make sense for, you know, each studio to stay in their own designated era. But let's say they do a modern Call of Duty, like a Modern Warfare, but the next year they may do another modern game, but it's not connected to the characters of the first one, for example. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love that as well. I know we've been talking about that for a while. But yeah, I think they'll have learned from their mistakes from Black Ops 3's campaign for sure. And even World War II's campaign was a major letdown. And it wasn't as bad as Black Ops 3's campaign.
Yeah.
But both campaigns were a dud in comparison to Infinite Warfare by a landslide.
Yeah.
So
man, yeah, World War II.
I never thought I hit that point in Call of Duty either, because obviously we've always been crazy about the multiplayer, but I've transitioned, I know you have as well, into just really caring most about the campaign in those games.
Yeah.
So very important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude. Retailers are reacting to Game Pass, and many of them, specifically in the UK, are not too happy about it. And it totally makes sense why. It's not really like the major corporations that are retailers that are upset about it. It's really the indie sellers. Like, for example, in EB Games in the UK that isn't EB Games, it's like a little standalone indie video game store where they it's like owned and operated by like a small entity, and they order in all their product, and then, you know, they try to sell it. Now that Xbox has Game Pass and all the new games come day one, they kind of have no reason to carry Xbox products anymore. And some have claimed that they're just dropping Xbox products entirely as this goes through. And they're going to jump ship and just commit exclusively to Sony. Hashtag not fanboys. And they recognize, like, we realize this is great for the consumer, but for us, it completely ruins it for us overnight.
Well, it sucks to be them.
Yeah, so now I don't have really an opinion on this. I just thought it was an interesting story because we talked about what are the reactions going to be like. And I think this was an obvious one to see coming, that some people would react like this. But how do you guys feel about this specifically, if you have any opinion whatsoever?
It does not bother me in the slightest because I'm heartless.
Now, I'm a pretty heartless bastard these days too, Jacob. The world's made me pretty cold.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed too, like I'll think about the way I used to think when I was younger, like in high school, and I was like, man, I'm still a kind person, I would say, but I am pretty ruthless when it comes to certain things. Like, I just don't, like, if I see something bad happening that I know is out of my control, normally back in the day, I'd feel like really bad about it. But now I'm so numb to everything that I could just see like the most horrific thing in the world and be like, and then just go on with my day. It's really heartbreaking and terrible. But yeah, I mean, it does suck to be in that situation. But then again, I mean, this is the way the world is going, it seems. I mean, you've seen like Netflix evolving, and it'll be amazing to see how a theater going experience evolves. And even with TV shows taking over the entire world, too. Like streaming is like king right now.
We're never going to have to leave our house here pretty soon.
Right. And which granted, Xbox Game Pass isn't streaming, but it's that idea where you subscribe and pay a monthly fee to have unlimited content to an extent. So, Preston, how do you feel about this?
Just feel about the stores opting out of Microsoft stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't affect me, but it like you said, it makes sense as to why.
Yeah. It's like a very, it's like a dramatic story that isn't that big of a deal, but it's interesting to read about, to think about being in that position.
Yeah. I mean, this was the main argument that people have been having for years about if somebody went all digital, then the stores, they have a deal with Microsoft that, hey, we're going to sell your console, because I believe they get a majority of the game sales from the software. So if why would a store sell their console if they know they're going to take a massive hit in revenue with their games if a lot of people start doing this Game Pass thing? So
yeah. Did I mention I played Sea of Thieves, by the way?
No.
I played it Saturday night, I think. Maybe it was Sunday night. I played a lot of stuff that Sunday night. I'll go through this quickly, but it was pretty cool. I will say I played with a bunch of guys from COG for a video, which I will say, if you have not seen it, I can share it on Discord. It's just a generic Sea of Thieves gameplay video, but I cut it together similar to the way we did our Destiny Leviathan raid video, and it actually turned out to be really hilarious. And that game, I could see the three of us and maybe a couple other people from the community having just so much fun with that. And I don't know how long it would keep us engaged, because what we did...
I've heard the game's pretty shallow.
What we did in the beta was very shallow. I mean, we literally did every single thing you could do in the beta in a matter of like an hour and a half. Now, people have been wondering, is Rare suppressing the game? Like, is there a lot of stuff hidden from it that is not being included in the beta? Which could be the case. I don't know. I know there's one thing you can do where you hunt the Kraken, which sounds like a ton of fun, but... just the core gameplay. I mean, the moment-to-moment stuff can just be anything random, but the stuff that stood out to me that was fun is that operating the ship is demanding. I mean, you have to have at least... I mean, you can do it with 3 people, but it's easier with 4 people, where one guy's navigating, one's managing the sails, and the other's at the helm. Yeah, steering the ship. And it's just like in... like a real pirate ship, if you're at the helm, it's all in first person. You can't see beyond the sail, so you have to have someone navigating where you're going. And there's so many funny moments too, where we'd all get distracted and be like, let's go check the map to see if we're headed in the right direction. We go down below deck and check the map, and then the ship would just be going out in the middle of the ocean and no one would be at the helm. And I'd come up to like look around and be like, guys, there's a boulder up ahead. Someone needs to get on the wheel. And I didn't know how to steer the ship. So we were like having near misses, running into cliffs, and we were awful pirates, but little moments like that were fun. I loved, just hunting treasure was fun, where you find your island and you swim to the island or launch yourself from the cannon. You can launch yourself out of a cannon if you haven't seen that, and land on the island and dig up the treasure. And I love the sense that you have to dig up the treasure, get it back to your ship without getting eaten by sharks, get back to your main hub island without getting killed by other pirates, or because pirates can not only sink your ship, but they can jump onto your ship and steal your treasure and escape with it.
You don't even get the treasure though. You turn it in. Right?
What do you mean?
You give the treasure to someone else, and they give you coins or something?
No.
I heard someone talking about
there's a couple things you can do. I'm trying to remember this correctly, but let's say we find some treasure, and we have to get it all the way back to our hub island to cash it in.
Yeah, I heard that you don't even open it, though.
Well, yeah, they open it in front of you. You can either choose to take gold from it, or you can choose like a cosmetic item, or you can choose a new map that will take you to like other treasure islands to get even more treasure. Okay. So you can take currency if you want and spend it on cosmetic items or upgrades to certain things. I think maybe you can carry more cannonballs if you upgrade certain things, but so that was kind of fun, getting back to the island, and then getting in ship battles with other pirates was a lot of fun too. And it's cool too, because cannonballs will blow literal holes in your ship, and your ship will start filling with water, and you have to patch the holes with wooden planks. And if you run out of wooden planks, you're going to sink. But you can also scoop water out of the deck with a bucket. If you do it quickly enough, you can keep it afloat. So those moments are pretty hectic and exciting. And it looks like they claim that there's some way you can capture enemy pirates that are like other players and literally put them in the jail in your ship. I don't know what you do with them after that. You can put them in there. I was saying how funny it could be if you could make them walk the plank and jump in and get eaten by sharks.
I know you can like lock your own members in the brig.
Right.
I was listening to a story that was a guy that was drunk in real life, and he was playing with his friends, and he got locked in the jail because they couldn't control him.
That's
anymore.
hilarious. Yeah, getting drunk on grog is hilarious too, because you can puke all over each other, and it's like hard to walk around and everything and steer a ship. What was another funny thing that happened? I got in a couple sword fights with other enemy players on the beach, and I killed a couple, but I also died. And when you die, you go to, I guess it's the Flying Dutchman. It's called like the Ferry of the Damned or something. You're on a ship with a bunch of ghostly pirates, and you're kind of stuck there until these doors open to another portal, and you can go back to the real world, and it spawns you in your ship again. So that was pretty cool. Something else that stood out. I can't remember. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of what you do, or at least what we did in the beta. It was a ton of fun. It's a really funny video, but anything beyond that, I'm not sure what there is to do necessarily. But I will say, while I was playing it, I was having an absolute blast the entire time. So I think it'd be worth dabbling in for sure when it comes out. Yeah, I apologize for going on that random tangent.
I'm much more likely to try it with the Game Pass now being out. Or when it does, give those day one games.
I mean, it will undoubtedly be far better on PC, but even on Xbox, it ran fine. I didn't have any issues at all. So wherever you choose to play at Xbox or PC, I think you're bound to have a good time, especially with friends. I can't imagine having fun by myself at all, but with friends, it's fun. What were we? There was a statistic, floating around that Switch has sold over 14 million units.
More than the Wii U.
Yeah, in its entire lifetime. That's pretty cool for Switch. It's not surprising. I mean, that thing's crazy popular. I love mine.
I love mine as well. So I take it. Cool. If I go to a friend's house, I always take it with me.
I've noticed. You played it the entire time we were playing PUBG at Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You look like you were enjoying yourself, too. You got the Hylian shield today, before the podcast.
Yeah.
So
I'm scared it'll break, so I'm not going to use it.
It won't, Jacob. I've used it since the moment I got it, and it's been hit 1,000 times. I've sledded down mountains with it, never broken. So has yours ever broken, Preston?
What broken?
Your Hylian shield.
No.
Yeah, you might as well just use it. It never breaks.
Yeah,
I think that's like a rumor. It's like a myth that it breaks.
I think it does break because I know you can build one in that town that you build from the ground up.
That's surprising. I've played for like 45 hours with that shield and it's never broken on me. So maybe I just got lucky.
Yeah, you can rebuild like all of the champions' weapons, right?
Yes,
from each of the towns.
Yeah,
I need to do that and display them all.
Well, speaking of Nintendo, Mario Kart Tour is coming to mobile, I believe, next year, before the fiscal year ends.
I think you're right.
So that's pretty cool, I guess. Will I play Mario Kart on mobile when I can play it on Switch? Probably not, but I'll try it for sure. I've enjoyed a Super Mario Run. I did not play Fire Emblem, which I heard was pretty cool on mobile. I played Animal Crossing for about 10 seconds. I think I read this is their 5th mobile title. I think they just canceled Miitomo, didn't they?
No, they shut it down. Yeah, they're shutting it down this summer, I think.
It and Paragon going down. So, not that they have any relation to each other, but 2 games. Bless you. Oh, crap. I ruined the pop filter 1 sec.
Oh, no.
I actually have to be adamant about the filter now on this mixer because it's just a disaster if I get too close to it.
This podcast is all over the place.
It is, man. But, I'm very tired. It's Super Bowl Sunday and, we're just hanging out, having a good old time here. Preston, you interested in some Mario Kart Tour?
No. I'm not.
No.
I don't want to race on my phone.
Me neither. Sounds lame.
What if it's the game of the year?
No, I could see it being a big success for people that don't have Switches and want to play some Mario Kart on mobile because everyone has a phone. And if it runs as well as the other Nintendo games have run on mobile, then I could see it being pretty successful.
Yeah, get a Switch. Join the club.
I agree. You should definitely pick up a Switch.
Everyone's welcome.
Grow that 14 million player base.
Let's get a Monster Hunter on Switch for the Americas.
That'd be incredible. And this is coming from someone who has yet to play Monster Hunter World. But I am on the go a lot, so it would make a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, there you
go. What was I going to say? Far Cry 3's Season Pass is actually really cool, I think.
It is.
So I did not have time to actually do the notes. I'm referring to my bullet points from the week at the moment. So I do have the Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, which is not like a remaster or anything. It's just Far Cry 3 ported for PS4, Xbox One, and I guess PC is just the PC version. For specifically for PS4 and Xbox One, you can play Far Cry 3 with the season pass of Far Cry 5. I think that's the last bit of DLC that comes out in the season pass. At least that's what's announced. I think there's like a zombies mode. There's a space mode where you fight like a space arachnids or something, and there's like a Vietnam mode, I think, that are 3 different separate DLC packs.
Yeah, I think you're right. If they're anything like Blood Dragon was, that gets me really excited.
Yeah, none of them look aesthetically like Blood Dragon, but if they,
you know what I mean, though, just like wacky.
If they have that level of creativity to them, I'm most interested in, I think, the zombie one, ironically, because something about Far Cry's core gameplay excites me. I think in a zombie themed world, it gives me vibes of Undead Nightmare from Red Dead in a way. So I'd like that in a Far Cry world. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I'm probably going to pick up the season's pass. I'm very excited for Far Cry 5. I think it's just because that's that game you can jump into and play for an hour and be satisfied, kind of like how I'm doing with Siege at the moment. And I know Far Cry can be multiplayer, but even just running around in that open world for brief periods of time is a good fill for me. So I'm pumped for that. How do you feel about it, Preston?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
I really, really think we could do some hilarious Let's Play stuff with that. Now that I figured out how to properly use Shadow Play on PC, and if I actually choose to use a decent microphone next time, I think we can crank out some really fun Let's Play stuff on PC.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
God bless Shadow Play, dude. That is like the simplest, most intuitive software I've ever used for game capture, and I love it. It was so convenient for doing Hunt Showdown, and I did it a disservice by using my crappy headset mic, thinking it would sound better than it did, and boy, was it a disaster. Thankfully, it didn't destroy the video, but Shadow Play, man, shout out to it. I know I'm kind of behind in saying that, but I approve. I approve of this message, is what I'm trying to say.
Do you guys want a really tiny detour with a hot take with some news I just found?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Now, I don't know the sources of this, but Tim Geddes just liked this, and it's from a website, or Reset Era. I don't know how credible that is or whatever, but apparently there is a rumor going around that Activision has a 5-year plan for Crash Bandicoot, with a new Crash Bandicoot coming in 2019 and the Insane Trilogy coming to PC and Switch this year, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yep. I know you guys are just probably crapping your pants with that news right now. So
I'm waiting for the inevitable Spyro remaster announcement at E3 this year. I'm convinced it's inevitable for this year.
Crash Bandicoot.
And I pray to the Lord that I'm sitting in that room live while it happens. We'll see.
That's what you want more than anything, is a Spyro?
Not more than anything. That's something I would really, really enjoy, though. Because it is the ultimate PlayStation nostalgia trip for me.
Garrett, do you have time to play Spyro?
I'll make time for Spyro.
Think about it. With Red Dead coming
Maybe
out?
in the summertime. Winter is always the busiest season for me, with school at least. When I have a little less going on with school classes, I can dedicate more time to free time, I should say, because I have none whatsoever at this moment.
Yeah, I would like Spyro as well. That would be super cool.
I meant to tell you guys, I don't know if YouTube's glitched, but I got an email today congratulating us from YouTube for reaching 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I guess 2,000 of our subscribers are fake. Almost 2,100 now. So they're like, oh my gosh, you reached 1,000. I was like, whoa. And it's like, you have all these new perks.
Like, what are the perks?
Some of them are like, you can go to get-togethers and meet with other creators, and you can take online classes about how to grow your stuff and blah, 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 blah.
You have to pay for the classes?
I don't think so. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I think you can just join them. Like with COG, for example, there's a lady who I communicate with every few weeks about like, oh, how's the progress going? How's your growth going? I always say the same thing. We're a media company. Everyone hates us. That's always my response. But when you reach certain milestones, you can get like a personal assistant that will communicate with you every few weeks and just figure out how to grow your channel. Obviously, we're far from that. I think you have to hit at least 30,000 to get that. But or maybe it's 25,000 or something. But we can take classes now and learn how to grow our channel.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
Maybe if we didn't have shit content, we'd grow our channel. Am I right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to community questions.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support of this podcast by submitting questions week in and week out, despite our lack of content the past couple of weeks due to my busy schedule, which makes me sad. I wish Preston and Jacob could crank out some videos every now and then. If you guys had the manpower to crank out a couple videos and just send me your files, I would edit them all day long.
Yeah.
It's just shooting the videos is what I don't have time for because I can't be here specifically. That's why I really need a place in Atlanta in the near future. But if you guys ever just use some shadow play and captured some fun gameplay with your headsets, if you have a decent mic like Preston's and just do some fun stuff, I would edit it into a silly little video.
Maybe I'll do
I'm just going to throw that out there. So, but anyway.
I wish I could capture some Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's a shame that that capture card you ordered isn't compatible at the moment with your PC.
I know.
So just use shadow play. I mean, you can't do it from PS4 with shadow play, but whatever you do on PC that you feel compelled to record, use that shadow play, man. It's got me really excited right now. I'm really plugging that hard today. But again, thank you to all of you for your continued support. Your not only the interaction on Discord, but the community questions really is encouraging and lightens my day because I haven't had dark days by any means, but I've dealt with some really nasty people this past week in different work situations, just bans that have come through. Not really to me specifically, just in general, they're just not very nice people. And so I get grogged down by like the busy schedule I have and I have to deal with people like that all day. But then jumping on Discord and everyone being nice to each other and having a good time, just loving video games, specifically everyone just raving about Monster Hunter has really lightened the atmosphere for me. So I appreciate everyone doing that. And if you want to reach us for community questions to have read on either this show or Ask IOG every single week, you can reach us in one of three places. You can email us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming, or you can submit your questions in the Ask IOG section on our Discord channel like the one I've been mentioning. And again, always use the hashtag AskIOG if you want your question read live on air. Otherwise, we will read your deepest, darkest secrets on air by accident. We would hate for that to happen. But if you just want to chat, by any means, message us. I almost always respond if it's in a place where I can obviously find it, like PlayStation or Facebook or Twitter or even Instagram from time to time. I can respond to. So we just like to talk to you guys. And on Discord, of course, we encourage you to join us. Yep. Question number 1 comes from, let me jump over to Discord. I'm going to read them straight from Ask IOG section on Discord for the first time. Normally I print them out, so I will have to make note of the ones I read so I don't forget any of them going forward. Let me find the beginning of where they start. Actually, there's one that I know is on Facebook that I don't want to leave out. So I'm going to read that first, then I'll jump to Discord.
Okay.
You want to sing us a little tune while I get there, Jacob?
There once was a man named Michael something. He had some whiskers on his
chin again. Okay, I found it. Thanks, Jacob.
Michael.
I don't know who this Michael character is, but I appreciate the tune. All right, question number 1 comes from Matthew Durkin. He says, yo, what's good, IOGs, or EOGs, as we like to say on this channel.
EOG.
EOGs. I just realized it sounds like a donkey. That should be our new logo. Let's scrap the ItsOG logo and do some donkeys.
Yeah.
Based on the current rate of video game technology powers progress.
Powers? What?
That's just how he said it.
Read it again?
Based on the current rate of video game technology powers progress.
What?
Well, I'll continue. You'll understand. How long do you think till we get a VR game / console / PC with GTA 5 graphics and immersive environment, but not costing a whole month's salary for the average gamer? I really want GTA 5 with full graphic fidelity in VR. Respect, Matthew Durkin. Thank you, Matthew. Gentlemen, how long do you think it's going to be for that graphical experience in VR? And it also not to cost an arm and a leg. Or in my case, 2 eyeballs, because it melts my eyeballs when I play VR.
You could just realize that VR is a gimmick and then not buy it at all.
Or Jacob could go fuck off. How about
I'm
that?
saving money, man.
Experiences like
that,
the impatient
Jacob?
would make you think it's a gimmick, but there are also magnificent ones that further prove that it's a very real platform that deserves to be fucking respected. Deserves to be supported going forward.
You guys enjoy your visors, okay?
I think a decade's probably about right. Now, what's great about that, though, is that we will see the progression over the next decade.
I'll say even longer. I'll say 15.
Yeah, so at least we will see that progression. Now, I think for it to be accessible to every gamer at a cheap price, I think will definitely be that long. I think the graphical fidelity will improve a little quicker than that. I'm thinking the next at least the next decade, but I don't think quite 15 years as far as the experience itself, but affording it will probably be a while away. Kind of like how when HD TVs came out, they were like crazy expensive, and now you can pick up, especially 1080p TVs, you can pick them up like they're nothing. But I even think some 4K TVs are pretty affordable as well.
Yeah, kind of.
So now the 4K HDR, whatever you call it, TVs are pretty brutal. But there
started getting like OLED and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, there will come a point where those will be much cheaper, obviously.
Because there'll be something else.
Yeah, same thing will happen for VR over time. So, am I excited for that time? Of course I am. I was talking about when I was playing Subnautica. You can play Subnautica in VR. I think, Preston, for $20, it's worth you giving that a shot to see what it's like in VR. Because to explore that open ocean with the giant creatures and the music, by the way, I meant to say in Subnautica is very Mass Effect-y. If you like EDM and that spacey, what's the word? Like astronomy type electronic music. Like it sounds like space is what I'm trying to say.
Astronomy music.
Astronomy.
Yeah, you ever heard astronomy music, dude? It sounds like you're in space is what I'm saying. That kind of like techno sound, but it's very beautiful.
I know what you mean.
That's another reason I downloaded the game. I heard the premise, I read about it, and I was like, that sounds incredible. And then I heard the music, and I was like, well, I have to play that. $20 later, I enjoyed myself for about an hour. I will go back to it at some point and dabble in it. But yeah, I think VR has a bright future ahead. I'm very excited to try, what's that game called? Blood and Truth, the London heist follow-up. I hope the new PlayStation Move controllers that are rumored and or patented by Sony emerge before that game comes out. I may even hold off to play it when those inevitably come out because I think PlayStation needs those so terribly. So
I agree.
Those will take PlayStation VR specifically to the next level. Next question comes from... Let me see.
Peter Molyneux.
Fableful.
What are your thoughts?
Man, we got a lot this week. We greatly appreciate it. I got to see where it even starts.
So unprepared.
I know. That's how busy I was today. I didn't even have time to breathe hardly. I wrote a history essay though.
History essay?
I half-assed the hell out of a history essay, dude. It was I used a sentence that goes...
That's the worst kind
just
of
to hit the word count, I used a sentence that goes, in today's journey through history, we go here.
It's like a high school sentence.
I know, just to get to my word count, man. That's how lazy I was. I was like, fuck this. I'm like, this is so pointless. I was thinking about it. I was like, I'll get a good grade on it because I technically meet all the requirements, but I used very stupid sentences like that to hit my word count.
What was your word count?
Only 500 words, which is hardly anything. Easy. It's very easy. But when I was trying to run sound and write a history essay at the same time, it isn't just, write 500 words. You have to use very specific sources. You have to use a very specific format to format your essay. And it's like very in-depth. I can't use actual online articles. I have to find literal books to get sources from and copy them down and cite them and everything. 'Cause it's very tedious and annoying. That's besides the point. That's what I was trying to do while doing my actual job last night. That's why the notes weren't completely finished. Now, there are many, many questions to read. I'm just going to start going down the list to see what we have here. Where are we?
Pick the shining stars. Only the ones that you really want to read.
Okay. Well, that's kind of hard because it would take me forever to read through all of them, which is a beautiful thing for me.
That's what I'm saying. Pick the ones you want to read. You don't have to read all of them.
Well, Renegade 413 says, "Hi, Jacob, and the other two that don't have enough muscles for me to remember."
Oh God.
It's payback for the other one that was like Gentleman and Jacob a couple weeks ago.
It's because I'm transcended above.
You are transcended. Yeah, that beautiful, beautiful body, Jacob. Yeah,
but does Jacob have full Zora armor set in Monster Hunter?
Preston, you look like a demon. I don't support the Church of Satan on this podcast.
I'm a demon.
Let's see here. Hi, Jacob, and the other two that don't have enough muscles for me to remember. Do you think if a company took resources, in parentheses he says money, out of making their game to look really nice and put those resources toward new ideas and better gameplay, that it would sell better or worse? I ask because the latest Zelda game did well even though it was 900p and wasn't next-gen graphics, though it could have sold well due to it being a Zelda game, ... So what he's saying is, do you think, I think we can answer this one easily, but he's asking if you focus more on gameplay rather than just presentation in general, like, oh, our game's very pretty, but the gameplay is a bit shallow. Do you think it sells better because of the gameplay or because of the presentation? I think it really depends on the name of the franchise. Or if you get lucky, like a AA game like Hellblade that had a lot of word of mouth hype going into it, it sold very well because of that.
This is a hard question to answer because you almost have to base it on every game that comes out.
And I would argue that Hellblade had better presentation and better storytelling than it did gameplay. Whereas Zelda, on the other hand, which I think Zelda it wins in every category. Now, storytelling isn't quite up to par with many other, which really isn't the point of that game at all. It's kind of like your own story that you carve.
I mean, every game that comes out is focused on something different. Like I would argue Battlefield is not only just focused on the gunplay, but also how beautiful they can make it look.
Yeah, but at the core of every video game, it's obviously gameplay. I mean, it may be some people be like, "Oh, we have
some
good
games
gameplay, but
focus
we want it
more
to
on
look gorgeous."
story, like there's games that focus on.
That's
things.
true. Like most walking simulators, for example, are rooted in storytelling for sure. Like Inpatient, for example, is a walking simulator in disguise, and I hated it. But Zelda, for example, is gorgeous to look at, and it has incredible gameplay. So that's like a win-win on both ends. But I see what he's saying. Like if some games that are what's like a very beautiful game that has pretty mellow gameplay. I have to poop, Jacob, so bad. Every time we get near the end, my body knows we're getting towards the end. It's like, let me out. So it's killing me.
What about The Order 1886?
That's a prime example. That is probably the best example, especially of this generation.
It's my favorite game of all time.
What? You're forgetting a very important game, Jacob.
I'm forgetting all my other favorite games.
I mean, that game had okay gameplay, but
graphically, it still impresses me.
Oh yeah, it's very impressive. I think it sold a lot of copies due to its graphical fidelity and just the time period that it takes place in.
That's the game that deserves a sequel for sure.
If it would have taken a hit in the graphics a little bit and the gameplay was phenomenal, it definitely would have been obviously better critically received, and it probably would have sold better.
Absolutely.
So, but I don't necessarily think that it's as cut and dry as that. I don't think they sit down and they're like, okay, we have a budget for graphics and we have a budget for gameplay.
Right, yeah, they try to find a happy medium between the two.
Yeah, and the companies have so much money and they have like pretty much unlimited resources in terms of like the talent that they can hire and stuff that I don't necessarily think it comes down to that. But I think if you're like an indie developer, I think it is very, very, very important that you bring new ideas and really good gameplay to the table. And it also is a requirement that you at least need your game to look nice. Like even if it's not, AAA breathtaking graphics, but if it's done in a nice, pixel art style, because I mean, your game has to look nice to the eyes for people to play it. And even if the game's like even like old school like Nintendo games and stuff, like they can look pleasing
they can
to
look
the eyes.
Gorgeous. It just depending on that art style. I mean, even if you have a low resolution, if the art style is pretty to look at, it's going to look pretty regardless.
Yeah,
but I think that the best example you've given is
I think
Order,
it is a requirement for your game to look nice to a point.
I think that's why the Order is the prime example, is because they clearly were heavily focused on the visuals of making that very cinematic, very movie-like quality experience, which paid off because it was gorgeous to look at. And even the story I enjoyed, but the gameplay was just kind of bland. So what's that, Jacob?
Did it pay off though?
Graphically?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Graphically, I got what I was excited about visually, but now gameplay-wise, I was left wanting more.
Just playing devil's advocate though, like what if they put less time into all that stuff and maybe
it would have been
longer,
it would have been a better game, undoubtedly. But that's why I think it's so deserving of a sequel, because I like that world they've created. I like the story, and I'd like to see them not only expand that, but really double down on the gameplay and give it some more thought. Which I know that what was that game they did that they were in bed with GameStop that GameStop published, I believe.
That was
a little bouncy ball game.
Yeah, is that a fighting game with the little things?
That's actually the secret sequel to The Order that was hidden.
What was the underwater one?
What was that game called?
It was like a submarine.
It wasn't the same developer. It was a different one.
That was Insomniac that made that.
Yeah, right.
That was Beyond the Deep or something like that.
Something like that. Another GameStop.
In terms of his Zelda thing, he said it did well because of 900p and wasn't next gen graphics. Yeah, but I mean, like you said, it still was beautiful, but if the Switch were more powerful, it would have had next gen graphics. So it was purely I don't think it was and I don't think he's saying it, but I'm just going to kind of correlate it to what he initially said about allocating resources to graphics. I don't necessarily think that was a case for Zelda. They did the best they could with the hardware that they had.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thanks for your
All right.
question.
Hey, I should probably read this one since I was talking about it. It's from Missia, maybe. He says, what's up, bros? He says, got a short one for you. Any upcoming games you're very excited about? I thought about this because I was very excited for Subnautica 1.0, and I don't know if any of you were or have played it. Thanks for the answer. I'll see you around. Monsieur, maybe. I'd like to play some more video games with you. It's been a while. And I've been talking about Subnautica a couple times this podcast, and what I have played, I have enjoyed. I'm still figuring a lot of things out. I've seen people doing some really cool stuff in that game. So, like I said, when I have time, I will go back to it. But I'm enjoying it as well. It's cool to hear that someone else from the community has dabbled in it also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got one word for you, Garrett. Well, a few words for you, Garrett.
Let's hear it.
Next week, today's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and then a week from said Tuesday, Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming out.
I'm playing the F out of that game.
Yeah, I'm playing that too. So that's probably my most hyped game in the future.
Yeah, in the near
at the
future,
moment
that is
right now.
my most anticipated game is Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah,
for sure. Spider-Man.
Then after
naturally.
that has got to be.
Red
Oh
Dead.
yeah.
So, and other ones we probably
God
haven't
of
even heard
War.
of that are coming out this year. I may be interested in, but those
God
are
of
two
War.
big ones. Yeah,
Far
God of War
Cry.
obviously in April.
Far Cry.
Rockstar. Red Dead.
Nino Kune 2.
It looks good.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play that one.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then I have
Screw
nothing
you,
to say to you.
I played it at E3 and it was cool, but
Oh, what a big cool man! He played it at E3. Whoa.
yeah, it
I
didn't.
had my fill.
It didn't blow me away at the time, but I think it's because I haven't played the
Trying to
first.
hold my hands.
I think it's because I didn't play the first one. If I played the
Yeah.
first one, I might be a little more interested.
Maybe you just have shit taste in games. How about that?
I could, yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
like Final Fantasy 15.
You know, it's hard for
Yeah.
me to get excited for other certain things. Is the lack of time for single player I have. That's why I'm like nervous about God of War and the other ones like Kingdom Come. I'm even nervous about because I'm like, will I even have time to play that?
You're
to the
gonna
point.
play God of War.
I will find
Damn
time
it.
to play God of War, but other ones like Kingdom Come that I really want to play, I'm like, I hope I have enough time to enjoy
At least
that.
you can like mess around in that game.
At least,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kingdom Come.
games where I kind of have a fresh slate to go into, I get more excited about. Like Nino Kuni, I feel like I'd have to like do a little research before I get into that, which is probably a YouTube video away.
Yeah.
So
It
maybe
really is.
maybe I'll get excited for it like Monster Hunter, then want to play it anyway. We'll see. That happens to me from time to time. What were we doing? Community questions. This is one from Kyle regarding Monster Hunter. Very suitable as well for this episode. He says, "Hello, radical ruffians. How are you all doing? With Monster Hunter here and a part of our lives, what armor sets or weapons do you guys strive for currently? Any favorites? And finally, who is your favorite character so far? I'm all about the Meowscular Chef. Remember, Max Gaines."
I'm a fan of the Mouscular Chef as well.
Yeah, he's pretty neat.
Yeah.
The chick is awful.
The what?
Your partner, that handler chick.
Really?
Yeah, she's terrible.
Why?
Voice acting's awful.
What?
I hate it. I hate her
Why?
expressions. I hate everything about her.
She's
you
just
talking about
typical
the girl
anime
that helps you
girl.
out the whole
Yes,
time?
hate her.
I think she
Yeah.
was adorable.
No, she's
There's nothing wrong
stupid.
with her.
If I could get rid of her, I would.
You're a real son of a bitch,
Get out of
Jacob.
here,
My
Jacob.
Palico can do anything that she does 10 times better. Plus, he's out there in the field with me.
He's got a good point there.
Well, what does she
No,
do?
She's fine.
The
She
Great
opens
Jack
the
builds a
book.
book for me.
She shows you your quest in the book, Jacob. your
thanks,
Palico
lady.
doesn't
Yeah,
have
how'd you figure out
opposable
your quest
thumbs.
without
You
her,
can't
Jacob?
do that.
I could listen to my quest givers talk and go do the quests.
Well, Jacob, she's
Yeah,
there for
well.
you when you... She's going to be there for you when you need her most, and then you'll realize how important she
I
is.
hope
Yeah.
you're right, because right now
I
I
like.
just
You know
don't
what? I
care.
like her. She's my favorite character. I don't know her
What?
name, but she's my favorite character.
I don't know her name.
She doesn't have a name.
I have the Zora gear right now, and I'm assuming I always forget his name. It's the Dia Gigante. He's he's like one of the big elder dragons. I'm assuming his armor is going to look so badass that my eyes will melt, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
Yeah, I haven't seen any crazy armor sets that I want yet, but I know that some of the elder dragon sets look super cool. So
Yeah,
when I get closer to those,
I just unlocked the ability to look at an armor set that the head is a palico.
oh,
It's like you're wearing a giant cat head.
nice.
Sounds pretty cool.
So yeah, it looks pretty cool, I guess.
I want the Aloy gear.
I'm excited to see
Yeah.
how that looks.
It's probably gonna not be as good as all the other stuff.
What if you just
unfortunately.
literally turn into Aloy?
I see you can play as Aloy in the game, can't you?
I don't think so. I
Because Aloy was in one of the trailers.
think that was just promotional.
Was it? Because it looked like they remade a character model of Aloy for their trailer.
I mean, you might be able to. I don't know what
can,
all
I have
the
no idea how to
options
do
for
it.
female are. But,
I have no idea.
all right.
Thanks for
next
sharing,
question.
though, gentlemen. Sam Harris says, "Greetings, gaming overlords. May your sovereignty of virtual entertainment ever prosper." Wow, I feel like
Wow.
royalty.
Thank you for addressing us as our titles. We appreciate that.
Our official titles. That should be our bio on.
You will not
Twitter.
be beheaded tonight.
It should just be gaming overlords. May our sovereignty of virtual entertainment ever prosper.
Guys, I'll be right back. I have to go preheat an oven. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
I want to
Y'all can
temporarily
continue.
update our Twitter bio as that for a while, just to humor myself, courtesy of Sam Harris. He says, Rockstar announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 is being delayed to October. Having been delayed a few times now, what does this mean for the game itself besides an extra polish?
It means we're all doomed.
Or is there a concern or problem that we just don't know about? I humbly await your reverent response.
I think
they just need a little extra
yeah,
time
they
to
need
polish.
some polish.
It's Rockstar, man. I don't think they have any real problems. I mean, at the end of the day, they are rock stars. So
Even if they did, we'd never know about it.
yeah,
We never know anything
I don't
about
think
their
it's a real
games.
problem. Yeah, it's probably just extra polish.
They're probably the most hush-hush studio
Mhm.
about their game.
I get most excited about their promotion because I hope they stick to what they always do, where they release a set of videos leading up to release. I think it's like a month or two in advance. It's like every week or so they release a new video highlighting a certain portion of gameplay. And Red Dead Redemption 2, you can order a new horse and buggy to capture bandits and go to town and turn them into the sheriff. That's how the guy sounds when he talks. You ever watch those old school Red Dead promotional videos? I think he did some for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, they did
as
something
well.
similar for GTA 5.
So I hope that trend continues because those get me so excited. And I think they're the ultimate way to promote your game too. Because not only are you seeing the game, but I think it's an effective promotional because it's not just like,
You're learning
cool.
how the game works.
Yeah, it's not like, it's a cool cinematic trailer, which I can appreciate as well. But seeing the game just in general in action with some nice voiceover, awesome. So I think it's fine.
Nothing to worry about. But
Right. Let's do one more. Ooh.
I need to go home and poop. Come on.
Me too. Here's the last one.
Okay.
Matty G says, after having
I'm
this
back.
conversation... Oh, hello, sir. Sam Harris wants to know if the Red Dead delay is due to just needing some extra polish or if there's a very real problem occurring.
No.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Thank you.
Okay.
No. After having this conversation... This comes from Matty G. This is the big finale. It says, after having this conversation with friends, I wanted to pass this question on to you guys. How do you feel about the sort of humor found in games like Borderlands, Saints Row, and Crackdown, and now more recently Fortnite? For example, the quote, random humor in Borderlands, see Butt Stallion, or just way over the top situations / characters for the sake of humor. I fall on the side of disliking it, finding most of the humor forced.
What?
I know Jacob, let the man finish. I know I probably fall in the minority here, seeing how well those games perform. But I've always enjoyed player-made humor way more.
Player-made humor in terms of just you doing something in a game and it being funny?
I guess so, yeah.
Just like creating stories with your friends, I guess?
That's what's sad about me in Borderlands is that I caught very few jokes because when me and Preston played Borderlands 2, I was at a time in my life where my mom... I didn't have a nice headset, so I had to just play with the game basically on 0 volume because my mom, I told you, has like mutant hearing. I mean, my mom's proof that mutants exist. I mean, her hearing is unreal, what she can hear. And I'd have my volume on hitting on 1 bar, and she could hear it all the way across the house. And I'd play on 0 volume for the majority of the games. I didn't hear the music. I didn't hear the sound effects. I didn't hear the humor. Preston's laughing his ass off the entire time in an Xbox party. And I was like, what did they say? I mean, I could have even turned on subtitles, but that doesn't really do it justice. But I hear Borderlands is hilarious. And I played through both.
But I hear that it's
played through
funny.
both 1 and 2. I remember stuff being funny in 1, but 2 specifically, I didn't hear like a single thing.
I think that humor's.
I think in any medium, when humor is genuinely funny, I appreciate it. Now, I'm not saying all humor is good humor, but these examples specifically, I can't totally think about, because Fortnite, for example, I know that's it's sort of a candid humor. It's not meant to be taken totally seriously. It's kind of that goofy, cartoony humor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rare is a prime example of just an old school sense of humor, where it's just naturally funny in a way.
Goofy.
Like between art style and like character interactions and stuff, it's goofy. So I appreciate that. When that stuff's actually funny, I appreciate it. So
yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
God damn it, Carlos.
Well, gentlemen, that'll do it for episode 139. I apologize for the lack of video, everyone who tuned in this week, but we appreciate you doing so nonetheless, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Obviously, in the YouTube comments, we'd love for you to do that just so we can get more notoriety on YouTube. Of course, trying to grow our YouTube audience. And of course, if you have the time, leave us a review, rate us, and subscribe on iTunes. Even if you never intend on listening there, it helps us out tremendously. It's still a long-term goal of ours, hopefully short-term at this point, to land on the new and noteworthy page on iTunes, because it could really bring in a brand new audience to our content. And we'd love to reach a point one day in this life to do this far more often than we do it now.
Yep.
And that's the only way we can do it, is we have a large enough audience to garner that sort of creative content.
I echo that.
Cool. Well, Jacob, Preston, you want to bring us out here?
Yeah, man. That was the It's Obvious Gaming podcast, episode 139 to be exactly Pacific.
Pacific?
I know it's specific. That's just a gag I do.
That was a good one, dude.
That was funny, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Subscribe to us on the Apple Podcast app and leave us a 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate that. Also, head on over to youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming and subscribe to us there as well. And I don't know, maybe give this video a thumbs up if you like it.
If you're having a good day, maybe throw us a thumbs up.
Also, check out our Discord channel. We got a lot of cool guys there. You can leave us questions like Garrett said in the Ask IOG section. And you can also talk to us about video games, anime, music, just nice poo you had, anything you could possibly imagine. We can discuss it in the Discord if you'd like, and we'd love to have you there. I think that pretty much covers it, unless I'm missing anything, Garrett.
I think that'll do it.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And to end it, our final prediction, who's winning the Super Bowl tonight?
Yeah. Both teams are going to lose.
Oh, that's a bold prediction, dude.
I think the Patriots are going to win.
I think Philadelphia will win.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'd love for Philadelphia to win. Like I said, a bird needs to win the Super Bowl. If the Dirty Birds can't do it, the Soaring Eagles, the American bird has to do it.
I bet you Super Bowl numbers are going to be really low. That's what I'm predicting.
Oh, no doubt, because people are bored of the Patriots being in the Super Bowl.
And a lot of people that aren't
maybe
Eagles
like
fans
10 people
don't like the Eagles.
Yeah, maybe 10 people care about the Eagles.
People said that the Georgia-Alabama game was going to be low, and it was the second highest rated game.
Wow.
College or national championship.
I'm excited
ever.
for some movie trailers. We're going to see Han Solo's trailer finally.
Is that tonight?
Yeah, that's tonight. We will see the new Mission Impossible trailer. I'm super stoked for that.
I have a bit of a confession. I'm a big Justin Timberlake. I'm a secret fan of Justin.
That's right. He's very talented.
So I'm excited for the halftime
vocalist.
show. I'm excited.
I even like some of his movie roles as well.
I think some of his songs on his new album are good too.
Okay. Preston, this is very random. I have to ask you though. What was the name of that band we used to make fun of that our SMS guys used to jam all the time?
Oh, Death Cab for Cutie.
That's what it is. What's the album called? What's the song?
I have no clue, dude.
What was that song? It was like, I don't know why, I don't know why. Something in the sky. I'll play it for you, Jacob, and you'll really enjoy it. Maybe not. Me and Preston used to make so much fun of it, and they'd play it all the time.
I don't think it was bad. It was just they listened to that album
So
like
much that we make fun of it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't bad music by any means, but it reminds me because apparently a new Manchester orchestra album came out recently, and I'm not a big fan of them, but we were listening to it at church today. I was like, wow, I'm actually sort of enjoying this, and reminded me of that Death Cab album.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Excuse me. I won't do that again.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic thing to end on, and we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye, everyone.
Everyone have a fantastic week. Goodbye.
Bye.